Good evening and welcome to X Stadium on the campus of Wichita State University, where tonight the NBC World Series YouTube channel is excited to bring you the fourth and final quarterfinal game of this 91st NBC World Series. Tonight's final game has the Hayes Larks, who are undefeated in the tournament so far at 3-3, taking on the San Diego Stars. My name is Steve Strain. Welcome in to this Wednesday night of baseball. No, it's Thursday. I'll tell you what, the days are running together as late as we've been here at times, but this is Thursday, the quarters. Of course, tomorrow is the semifinal round. We'll have it down to 4 teams tomorrow night. The winner of this game will take on the Lone Star Kraken, who won earlier today. And in tomorrow's other semifinal game, it'll be the Hutch Monarchs and Seattle Cheney. Seattle Cheney just knocked off Derby, and they have advanced to the semis as well. So one of these teams will punch the fourth and final ticket to the Final Four. We'll see if it's Hayes or San Diego. Hayes is the visiting team tonight, so let's run down their starting lineup. Lane Sparks will lead off. He'll be in right field and followed by left fielder Trent Baker. Thomas Lissy bats third. He's at third base. Jackson Babcock hits cleanup, and he's at first base. Batting fifth, Caleb Duncan. Duncan is the center fielder. Wilbert Espinal bats sixth, and he's the designated hitter. Dylan LaRue bats seventh. LaRue's at second behind the plate. Tabor Stokes bats eighth, and he's at the shortstop position. And C.J. Reed at second base bats ninth. Again, the lineup for Hayes: Sparks, Baker, Lissy, Babcock, Duncan, Espinal, LaRue, Stokes, and C.J. Reed. And the first pitch is to Lane Sparks, and right away he jumps on it and sends it into right center field for a base hit. So the Larks wasting no time getting going here as Lane Sparks knocks his fourth base hit of the tournament on the very first pitch of the game. It came at 10:47 Central Time with a temperature of 72 degrees, and a light breeze is uncharacteristically blowing in from right field, which would be out of the east, something you don't see much in these parts. So here is Trent Baker now, the left fielder. Bailey Viscardi is the pitcher for San Diego, and on the very first pitch, it's a stolen base for Sparks. Well, you want to talk about coming out attacking. Lane Sparks' first pitch swings and steals a base, and then on the first pitch to the next batter, he steals second base. So he has a single and a stolen base in just 2 pitches. The pitch was a ball at the count at the plate to Trent Baker. And the pitch is a fastball at 88 miles an hour, but misses, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Freddie Steinmark Award winner Simon Lunsford is on the hill. We'll talk about that as the game wears on. He's not even yet started college. He just graduated from high school a few months ago, and Lunsford delivers down for the third pitch, and it's 3 balls and no strikes. You can see him, wears number 77 on his white jersey with blue pinstripes. He looks all the bit of a kid that just graduated from high school not too long ago, and he is facing a very potent Hayes lineup, and already in a little bit of hot water with a runner at second, nobody out, and a 3-0 count. And here's the fourth pitch to Baker, and it's outside for a ball 4, and a 4-pitch walk. So an ominous start for Lunsford. A single, a stolen base, and then a 4-pitch walk to the next batter. So first and second for Hayes, just like that, with nobody out for Thomas Lissy. Green Mountain High School is where Simon Lunsford graduated from this past high school season in Colorado. He was a 3-sport athlete. Time has been called, and Lissy steps out of the box as Lunsford steps off the rubber. Now we're ready to go. Lunsford works from the stretch. Here comes the pitch. Lissy is showing bunt, and it bounces behind the plate on the turf. And so it'll be a foul ball strike, 0-1. They were playing in at the corners a little tight, expecting Lissy might be bunting. Up the middle, they will play at normal depth, and certainly they'll shift for a bunt again, but also if it gets to 2 strikes, boy, San Diego desperately looking for a double play opportunity with runners at first and second and nobody out right out of the gate. Lissy high and tight, so he pulls the bat back. And the count is now 1 ball and 1 strike. There's Bailey Viscardi. A look at him. Through the stretch he goes. And here comes the pitch. And that one is down low for a ball. And the count's now 2 balls and a strike. Runners at first and second. Nobody out, top of the first inning. Through the stretch goes Viscardi, and the pitch down low. And I beg your pardon, I was talking about Simon Lunsford, and that's the pitcher for Hayes. We'll touch on him in a little bit. This is Bailey Viscardi on the hill right now for San Diego, who's laboring with the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 on, nobody out. Top of the first inning, Hayes threatening already. This is the second appearance of the tournament for Bailey Viscardi. He pitched in 5 innings earlier in the tournament, and he did factor in a decision, so he is 0-1. Josh Shepis, the home plate umpire, just came out from behind home plate, and I'm not sure what he was motioning, but it got the attention of some of the fans in the crowd. There go the runners. The pitch swung on and missed. The throw is going to be down to third, and it's wide of the bag and a double steal. Lissy did strike out swinging for the first out of the inning, but a double steal for Hayes, and now they've got him at second and third. Boy, and Frank Leo really playing aggressive here in the early going of this one, as we've already seen 3 stolen bases and a first pitch single on the very first pitch of the game to Lane Sparks. So now second and third with 1 out for Jackson Babcock, the first baseman. And the first pitch to Babcock is lined the other way, but that's going to slice into the bullpen down the left field line. That's the Hayes Larks bullpen. Part of the confusion I had earlier is both of these teams are wearing white uniforms. Nothing in one, and the pitch is yanked foul. And you really have to be focused on who the home team is and visiting team, because they're both wearing white. Neither team wearing dark jerseys, but Hayes is the visiting team, so they're batting first. San Diego is out in the field as the home team. The pitch swung on, and a slow bouncing ball up the first base side. That's going to be fielded by Viscardi, the pitcher. His only play will be to step on the bag for a 3 unassisted, but that will move the runners up. And that means that Sparks will score and Baker down to third, and Hayes has drawn first blood. It's 1-0 Larks. Well, this is an all-artificial surface field here at X Stadium, and so even though that was a slow bouncing ball, it was high enough for an easy trip for Viscardi over to field it and touch the bag, but that still allowed their runners to move around from third to home and second to third, and now a bunt here by Jackson Babcock, and Babcock just got thrown out at first base. Ooh, I think that if there was replay in the NBC, Hayes would like to have another look at that. A surprise bunt, and I'll tell you what, looking at it live, it looked like he beat it out and he was safe. First base umpire is Lance Vaughn. Nicely done by Viscardi. There's the throw to first, and I think he indeed was safe. But we can't replay it, and the side retired. Hayes does bring across 1, and after half an inning, Larks won. The San Diego Stars coming up.
BMA's residential cleaning service knows there's no place like home, especially when your home is cleaned by our experienced staff. From floor to ceiling, we've got you covered. Learn more at bmasclean.com. BMA's Cleaning Sports, PBS, Kansas. Seriously good TV.
Here's another look at that third out of the inning, Jackson Babcock bunting, and while a nice job by Viscardi of fielding his position, it looks like indeed Babcock beat the throw out, foot's on the bag right there. Ball is still inches away from the glove at first base, but Lance Vaughn called Babcock out, and that cost Hayes a run. It was a bang-bang play, not the easiest job in the world for an umpire, and we've got the benefit of replay, and in his defense, Lance Vaughn, the umpire, doesn't. But that has to be a little hurtful for Hayes. It cost him a run. There's Simon Lunsford, who we were talking about in the top of the first inning, the pitcher for the Hayes Larks. And we will touch more on some of his accomplishments on and off the playing field in a moment. The first pitch of the bottom of the first inning is to Joe Anderson, the third baseman for the Stars, who sends one high into the Stars and foul down the right side. It's 0-1. The pitch swung on and a bouncing ball out to short. Tabor Stokes charges in, has trouble getting out of the glove, then does, and fires to first for a 6-3 putout and one away. Jackson Babcock, the first baseman for Hayes. C.J. Reed is at second. Tabor Stokes just making that play is over at short. The third baseman is Thomas Lissy. The outfield from left to right, Trent Baker, Caleb Duncan, and Lane Sparks. Dylan LaRue behind the plate, calling the balls and strikes of Simon Lunsford. Now the first pitch to Logan Aguilar in there from the left side of the plate is a changeup that misses, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. Foul back and out of play. And the count is 1 ball and 1 strike. Simon Lunsford is 6'4", 175 pounds. A ball and a strike. Here's the pitch. Took something off again, but misses, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. He'll be heading to Mesa State in Colorado this coming school year, but just graduated from high school a few months ago. The pitch. That went in there for a strike at 79 as he threw a changeup right across the heart. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss, and the ball was dropped by the catcher behind the plate, LaRue. He'll have to fire down to first for a 2-3 putout, and there's 2 outs, and a good start for Lunsford on the hill. 2 up, 2 down, and that's his first strikeout of the game. So that'll bring up center fielder Justin Tucker. I mentioned prematurely that Simon Lunsford won the Freddie Steinmark Award, and that is a prestigious award for Colorado high school athletes, which Lunsford was this past season. And we'll talk about that in the second inning because Lunsford just threw out Justin Tucker on a 1-hopper back to the mound. A 1-2-3 for the Hayes defense in the bottom of the first inning. After 1, Larks 1, San Diego Stars 0.
When you look for a place to learn, train, and grow, you need something that fits with your life. At Butler Community College, we want you to reach your goals in the most affordable way possible. That's why we keep our tuition rates low, so you don't have to stress about your future.
It's why we offer hundreds of scholarship opportunities for pursuing your passion.
And it's why we work hard to provide a professional higher education at a lower price tag. Butler Community College.
Real college, really affordable.
Here's a look at Justin Tucker for the San Diego Stars, their speedy center fielder, as his team has spotted the Hayes Larks a run by the score of 1-0 as we're ready for the second inning of play. Again, we are now into elimination play of this NBC. Everybody played 3 games of pool play, and then starting yesterday, it's win and move on or lose and go home. And 3 teams have already done that today, and now there will be another one of these 2 teams that will head on home, and the other will qualify for the semifinals tomorrow. Top of the second inning, Caleb Duncan to lead off, and Duncan takes the first pitch from Bailey Viscardi, and it's a strike, 0-1. 1-0 Larks, a run on a hit, scratched across in the first inning, and the pitch is in tight for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Bailey Viscardi out of Ottawa University in Arizona. Here's the pitch. That one is outside. This past season, he was used very, very little. He was just used in less than 1 inning of work the entire season. This one is swung on and struck pretty well to the opposite field to left, and Carter Lockwood got turned around at first. Then it was hit high enough that he could gather himself, make the catch out in left field, 1 away. Again, the wind is blowing in from right field. You just don't see that much. That's a northeasterly wind in from right field, so it's going to be awfully tough for hitters hitting the ball to the right side to get it out of here tonight. And it's a breeze at around 10 miles an hour. First pitch next batter is Wilbert Espinal, and he lines one into left field. That's a base hit. So a good start to the inning for the Larks. 1 out and a runner at first base, and we'll see if Hayes stays aggressive. So here is Tabor Stokes. Stokes out of the 8th spot for the Larks. And now they've called a balk. And I touched on it a couple of days ago. There have been an awful lot of balks called in this tournament. These umpires are really keying in on something, and we've seen a ton of balks in the tournament. So down to second base goes LaRue on the balk, and no balls and no strikes right now to Tabor Stokes, and Stokes takes the first pitch, and it is a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 Hayes, top of the second inning. Larks already with a runner in scoring position in the top of the second. And a changeup at 78 misses, and the count's now 2 balls and no strikes to Tabor Stokes. Played at Hutchinson Community College this past season, went .280 with 3 homers and 31 runs batted in. And he'll be going to Ball State. That's what's next up for him. 2 balls and no strikes. Runner at second, 1 away. Viscardi through this stretch, and he delivers home, and Stokes chops it foul at the plate. And that'll even things up now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. That can be awfully painful, and in looking at the replay, it was off of his front instep. That's the left foot. Does not feel real good. But Stokes is back in, ready to go. Through the stretch goes Viscardi. He'll look at second. The second baseman Dunn bluffs in to cover the bag. Now he's back in the pitch. And that one's across at 78. Another changeup by Viscardi. And the count's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Lone Star knocked off Santa Barbara today, so the Foresters NBC is done. Lone Star is in the semifinals. They beat Santa Barbara 6-4. The pitch is low, and the count's now even at 2-2. The Hutch Monarchs over Alaska 2-1. That was a good game. Low scoring, good pitchers game, but Hutch gets a couple of late runs to win that one. And then the Seattle Studs in another well-pitched game just knocked off Derby 1-0. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. A high chopper over towards short. Charging in Aguilar. He'll throw to first, and that throw pulls the first baseman Giacalone off the bag, and everybody's safe. And down to third base goes LaRue, and safe with an infield base hit is Tabor Stokes. Well, Stokes just motored down the line, and he might have been safe anyway. Actually, probably not. The throw appeared to have been just in the nick of time. However, it was inside of the bag, and it pulled Giacalone off the bag, and so it's an infield hit. Runners at first and third for C.J. Reed. And Reed takes down and in for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. So the infield for San Diego, once again, would love to see a double play here. It'll get out of this jam, but right now runners at the corners with 1 away, and there goes the runner from first to second, but the pitch is swung on and fouled over toward the third base on deck circle. So the count is 1 ball and 1 strike. Already 3 hits in the game for Hayes. Here comes the pitch. And that one on the outer edge, says Josh Shepis, and it's now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Lance Vaughn again is at the first base umpire. Mark Wagers is the umpire over on the third base side. So Shepis behind the plate, Vaughn at first, Wagers at third. Here's the pitch. Bouncing ball over toward the shortstop position. The throw is going to be to first, and it's in time, but it'll get a run home. And the hit and run scores Hayes a run. Here's the reason. Aguilar was moving towards second on the hit and run. You can see him breaking right there, but then the ball was hit behind him, and then he had to move back to his right, and his only throw was to first. So because Hayes had the runner moving from first to second, Stokes, C.J. Reed able to get an RBI. So he grounds out 6-3, but that's an RBI. 2 outs now, back to the top of the order with Lane Sparks. And Sparks takes the first pitch, and it's a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. Hayes is hitting just .231 in the tournament. So they have not exactly lit it up offensively. They're doing a lot of what you're seeing them do tonight, which is just manufacture runs. They've been walked a ton as well. 2-0 as the next pitch is down and away, and Sparks is ahead in the count. Tonight, for example, 2 runs on 3 base hits for the Larks, but they've not put many out of the infield. There's a strike, and the count's now 2-1. Just station to station, the old philosophy of get them on, get them over, and get them in, and they've already done that twice so far. Here's the pitch inside. And the count's now 3 balls and a strike to Lane Sparks, who led off the game on the very first pitch of the game with a single, and then on the second pitch of the game, he stole second base. He then stole third and then came home to score moments later. Here's the pitch, and there is ball 4. A changeup by Viscardi, but it missed, and for the second time in a row, Lane Sparks reaches base. So he will trot down to first base, and now first and second for Hayes with 2 outs, and Trent Baker will step up. Baker walked his first time up and stole second. He was stranded at third when the top of the first came to a close. And the pitch to Baker, swung on and lifted to right field. Ethan Wright stands there still, then shifts a little bit to his left and makes the catch for the third out of the inning, but Hayes able to bring home another single run, and after 1.5, Larks 2 and San Diego nothing.
It's the summer sales event with the Ford crew.
It's the summer sales event. Great time to buy. Nice weekend, Hank?
Spectacular. Took the family camping, courtesy of Ford F-Series, the best-selling trucks for 48 years. Morgan?
Baseball tournament. My Explorer at the Homeland Field.
How about you two?
My bath.
Get 0% APR financing with 0 down and 0 payments for up to 90 days on select Ford vehicles. Plus, get a complimentary maintenance plan for 24 months.
Well, it was a 1-2-3 inning for the San Diego Stars against Simon Lunsford in the bottom of the first inning. Now they'll get a crack at him again here in the bottom of inning number 2. Hayes, in the meantime, has scored single runs in each of the first 2 innings. So Landon Bailey, the cleanup hitter for San Diego, steps in. Right-handed hitting catcher takes a fastball in tight for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. Two runs on 3 hits for the Larks, no runs on no hits for San Diego, but this just their second time up. And here's a little soft liner out toward short, and Tabor Stokes is there, and Stokes has it for a little flare to short, 1 away. The award I was referencing earlier that Simon Lunsford won, again, is called the Freddie Steinmark Award. It's considered the most prestigious honor in Colorado high school athletics, presented by the Colorado High School Coaches Association to a senior that exemplifies excellence in athletics, academics, and community service. First pitch to Gia Colon, and that one's in there for a strike, 0-1. So it's a real tribute to Lunsford, the pitcher for Hayes, to win that, because it not just exemplifies great on-the-field accomplishments, but off as well. The next pitch is also a strike, and Lunsford's ahead in the count to Frank Giacolone. No balls and 2 strikes. Nobody on, 1 out. Bottom of the second inning, Hayes 2, San Diego nothing. And this pitch misses just outside. It's a ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Again, Lunsford will be heading to Mesa State next season. A ball and 2 strikes, and the pitch. That one's tight, and it's now 2-2. The Hayes Larks making their 49th NBC World Series appearance. They have 6 runner-up seasons here in this tournament, and they have 1 championship, and it was last year. There's a swing and a miss, strike 3, and down goes Gia Colon, and that's the second out of the inning. Boy, a nice job that time by Lunsford, just blowing it right by Gia Colon, and now here's Ralph Dunn, but so far 5 up and 5 down for San Diego, and Lunsford has 2 strikeouts to his credit. And now Ralph Dunn first pitch swings and sends one back to the backstop, and it's 0-1. So the Larks won their first NBC last season after 6 runner-up years. The pitch lined into right field, but playing a little bit shallow was Sparks, and he'll charge in and make the catch about waist high, and that'll retire the side in order for the second time in a row. 6 up and 6 down for San Diego so far, and after 2, it's the Larks 2, San Diego nothing.
Have you ever needed to stop or change the way you do something you love because of aches, pains, or injury? The physical therapists at Select Physical Therapy are here to get you back to work, life, and your favorite activities. Most importantly, your goals are their goals. Their movement experts will listen and develop an individualized treatment plan so you can heal. Begin care faster by requesting an appointment today at selectphysicaltherapy.com. Experience the power of physical therapy at Select Physical Therapy.
The Taco Bell Cravings Value Menu. 10 choices, each just $3 or less. Starring the cheesy double beef burrito. Double the seasoned beef, all the cheesiness, and so much craveable flavor. Get it on the Cravings Value Menu, only at Taco Bell.
Thomas Lissy to start the third inning for the Hayes Larks. Lissy, Jackson Babcock, and Caleb Duncan, 3, 4, and 5 in the order for the Larks, leading San Diego by the score of 2-0. I like that field cam with the walking cameraman down there. Gives you a feel like you're watching a major league game. That's a nice touch by the crew. First pitch to Lissy, and it's inside and it hit him. That stings a little bit, and Lissy will get a free pass, but doesn't feel real comfortable. He bends over and now heads down to first base, and we'll take a look at where this one got a piece of him at, and it looks like it was right above the right elbow. So Lissy on at first base. And again, I mentioned all of the walks that Hayes has drawn in this tournament, hit batsmen as well. They've been issued a ton of free passes in this tournament. So here's Jackson Babcock now with a runner at first. And Babcock, first pitch swings and sends this one high up the third baseline a little bit, and it's going to be the catcher Bailey giving way to Joe Anderson, the third baseman, charging up the line, and Anderson makes the catch for a fly out to third base, and one away for Caleb Duncan. Hayes has been walked 21 times in the tournament. That's 3 games coming into play today. 18 walks for their opponents. First pitch to Caleb Duncan, and it's a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. Compare that to San Diego. San Diego Stars came into the tournament with a total of 11 walks issued to their batters. So by 10 walks, Hayes has drawn more bases on balls than has San Diego. And that gives you an idea of how many free passes the Larks have been issued, and that's not even counting hit batters, which Hayes has had happen to them 3 times. 2 balls and no strikes the count to Caleb Duncan, and he takes down and away. And the count's now 3-0. Runner at first, 1 away. Hayes leading 2-0. Single runs in each of the first 2 innings. Viscardi through the stretch. Here comes the 3-0, way outside, not even close. And a 4-pitch walk. So Caleb Duncan on at first base. Down to second base goes Thomas Lissy. And with 1 out, runners at first and second for Wilbert Espinal. And that's going to get Landon Bailey out from behind the dish to talk to his pitcher, Bailey Viscardi. San Diego 2-2 in the tournament. They started off 0-2. They lost to Hutchinson and they lost to Seattle Cheney on Friday and Saturday. Then they've bounced back with 2 wins over Dodge City and Lone Star. And that's what puts them here tonight. Wilbert Espinal is in, and here's the pitch. Fouled back and out of play. One thing I've not touched on yet is that win that San Diego had to start elimination play over Lone Star was not yesterday like everybody else. That actually was a game that started this morning. They were rained out last night. The game was scheduled for 8:30, and then at about 10:45 or 10:50, their game was called off. They hadn't even completed the Derby game prior. Here's a liner right back to the mound, and then it could be a double play, but the throw to first gets away from Giacalone, and that's actually going to allow a runner to advance to third. What a wild play that was. Espinal right back to the pitcher for the second out of the inning, and then Viscardi tried to double up Duncan, but the ball trickled away from the first baseman. When that happened, Lissy advanced to third. And so he's down in scoring position and runners at the corners with 2 away. So now Dylan LaRue is up with runners at the corners and 2 away. And the pitch to LaRue is outside at 84, 1 ball and no strikes. So this San Diego team played this morning. The game finished sometime a little bit after in the early afternoon, and here they are again playing again, their second game today. The pitch is outside for a ball, and it's 2-0, and I realize these are young college kids or just out of high school, whatever. Still can't be very easy to play 2 games in the same day that far apart. There goes the runner from first to second, and the throw behind the plate is a bluff, as Bailey didn't want to risk Lissy coming home. So a stolen base for Caleb Duncan. That's already the 4th stolen base in the game for Hayes, and we're just in the 3rd inning. Here's the pitch in there for a strike. And Viscardi needed it because the count was 3-0, and now it's 3-1. Viscardi not concerned with the runners on base, and the pitch is swung on and driven deep to right field. This one is way back, and this one is going to bang off the wall, and it's going to score 2. And LaRue is headfirst sliding into second base with a 2 RBI double, and he doubles the Larks' lead. It goes from 2-0 to 4-0 on a Dylan LaRue double to right field. Boy, that one got out to right in a hurry, and about halfway up on the fence in right, banged off the wall, and everything was easy there. The 2 runs scored easily, and LaRue easily sliding into second base with a double. So Tabor Stokes now, the number 8 hitter in the lineup for Hayes, steps in, and he takes a fastball outside, 1 ball and no strikes. So a good start for LaRue. He's 2 for 2 with a couple of RBIs. Viscardi will stretch, and the pitch. And there literally are about 4 players going into the bullpen for San Diego right now. They've got an army of guys heading down there to start warming up, or at least catching some warm-up pitchers. But nonetheless, that bullpen just got very busy for San Diego. There's a changeup and a swing and a miss for Stokes. And the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. So 4-0 Larks. A good start for Hayes. 4 runs on 4 hits. Through this stretch goes Viscardi. Here comes the pitch. Swung on and a bouncing ball outside the bag at third and outside the line. And the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. It was a interesting start for Hayes to this tournament. They won each of their first 2 games, but only by 1 run. It did not look like the dominant Hayes team of last year. They won last Thursday, a week ago today, 6-5, and then on Saturday they won 9-8 as the pitch is inside for a ball. They knocked off Seattle Thursday 6-5, then Oklahoma MVP Saturday 9-8. Then Monday over Lone Star Kraken 7-4. 2 balls and 2 strikes here with a runner at second and 2 away. And here's the pitch, changeup, and that one misses. May have been down low, and the count's run full at 3-2. And again, San Diego lost each of their first 2 games in this NBC, and they've come back to win 2 straight. Here comes the pitch. Lined into left field, that's down. That'll be a base hit. Over to his right is Lockwood. Rounding third and heading home to score is going to be LaRue. And now it's the Larks on top by the score of 5-0. And Bailey Viscardi is not fooling these Hayes hitters. They are jumping all over him as LaRue comes home to score. And now C.J. Reed will step up with a runner at first and 2 outs, and a 5-0 Larks lead. LaRue grounded to short back in the last inning, but he got an RBI for it as the first pitch is swung on and missed, 0-1. He's the one that grounded to Logan Aguilar, who was moving over to cover the bag on the hit and run, and then the ball was hit behind him right in the spot that he left. Here's the pitch. There goes the runner. The throw is high, and the tag is down. And boy, that one looked like a stolen base. Wouldn't mind seeing that one again from center field, as it sure looked like a stolen base from here. The crowd sure is on Mark Wagers. There's the slide. You can't really see when the foot gets on the bag. And the left foot actually went by the bag. It was the right that touched, and maybe that was why he was out. We'll take a timeout, but the Larks up 5-0 after 2.5. Gavin Jamino to lead off the bottom of the third inning for San Diego, and the Stars have their work cut out for them now as they trail Hayes by the score of 5-0. And Jamino's first pitch swings and misses on a fastball at 90 miles an hour for Simon Lunsford. He may be a little juiced up now that his team has given him a 5-0 cushion to work on. And Lunsford is ready through the windup and delivers, and boy did he fool Jamino that time. Half-hearted swing and a miss on a breaking ball, and now the count is no balls and 2 strikes. Jamino, Carter Lockwood, and Ethan Wright 7, 8, and 9, because so far it's been 6 up and 6 down for San Diego. There's a change in strike 3 called at 75 miles an hour. Talk about pulling the string. That's the third strikeout of the game for Lunsford, and 1 away. That is the first strikeout looking, and you can see it was actually a slider with a lot of bend on it. From up here, straight above home plate almost, you couldn't see the up and down motion on that slider, but it definitely was. There's a swing and a miss for Carter Lockwood, and the count is 0-1 to him. So Simon Lunsford, a big part of the story so far, as the pitch is swung on and lifted into center field. Charging in is Caleb Duncan, and he's going to run it down in shallow center field right on that great big Shocker logo out in center. Of course, this is the home of the Wichita State Shockers, and they're quickly 2 away. Lunsford is just cruising along now. Ethan Wright steps in. Wright's taking his time getting ready. Now he is, and here comes the pitch. And that's a fastball at 91. So Lunsford, the recent high school graduate, just topped 90 miles an hour at 91, but missed a little upstairs. 1 ball and no strikes. Here's the pitch. And that one was at 92. So he throws it with even a little more velocity, but missed away. 2 balls and no strikes to Ethan Wright, the right fielder for San Diego. The pitch, high and tight for a ball. Ethan Wright went .323 with 2 homers and 29 runs last season at Mesa College in San Diego. He's heading to Tennessee Wesleyan next. Here's the pitch. And there is ball 4. So a 4-pitch walk, and that's the first base runner of the game for San Diego. It's the 9th batter to bat for the Stars before they finally get somebody aboard. They still don't have any base hits as they go back to the top of the order now with Joe Anderson. Anderson led off the bottom of the first inning by grounding out to short. He's 0 for 1. And for the first time tonight, Simon Lunsford works from the stretch, and it doesn't faze him. A swing and a miss for a strike to Joe Anderson, and it's 0-1. Anderson also played at Mesa College this past season. A bunch of San Diego Stars did just that. Here's the pitch. That one in at 80 for a strike, and it's 0-2. Many of these San Diego players have either played 1 or 2 seasons at Mesa College in San Diego. 0-2, and the pitch is swung on and pretty well struck to the gap in right center field. Sparks is going back to his right, and then he gets a glove on it and can't come up with it. That's going to score a run, and down to second base is going to go Anderson, and we'll see how they score that because Sparks was on the dead run for a while, then stopped, looked like he caught up with the ball, and then it still deflected off his glove and came down to the turf. So he had a good hard run, but then he's there, and it's almost like he overran it because he had to reach back across his body. If I'm scoring, that's an error. And we'll see what the official scorer has to say. They've been awfully generous during this tournament, but there's been no signal as of yet, and it is going to be an E9. So an error on Lane Sparks brings home a run and puts Joe Anderson down at second base. So it's a 2-base error. And that's also an unearned run charged to Simon Lunsford. And the pitch is fouled up the first baseline, so the count is 1 ball and 1 strike to Logan Aguilar. So San Diego is still hitless in the game. But they do have a run in and a runner at second base. Joe Anderson after that two-base error. Lunsford looks back at second. Looks back a second time, and the pitch is home, and it's down and in. Good stop behind the plate by Dylan LaRue. Got down low and blocked that one and kept it from getting by. The shortstop, Tabor Stokes, is pretty much playing Aguilar up the middle, so he's almost directly behind the bag anyway, and then he cheats in every now and then just to try and keep the runner close. Here's the pitch. Bouncing ball over to first on a few hops, backhanded and then bobbled by Babcock, and the toss to first base is not in time. And that might well be the second error of the inning on Hayes, as Jackson Babcock had a routine bouncing ball heading his way on a few hops, and he just simply dropped it. And then he tried the underhand toss over to the pitcher covering, but it was too late. And runners at the corners with two away, and that was another error on the Larks. So 2 Hayes miscues. And now Justin Tucker at the plate. And the first pitch to Tucker in there for a strike, and it's 0-1. The pitch. And that one down low, dribbles away from LaRue, but staying at third base is Joe Anderson. Lunsford looks over his shoulder at first and delivers home. There's a strike. Took something off at 78, and it counts 1 ball and 2 strikes. Boy, it was just a picture-perfect start for the Larks. Put 5 runs up through 3 innings, and then the bottom of the third, it was 8 up and 8 down, and then the wheels have come off a little bit. There's a swing and a miss. They'll have to throw down to first to get the out, and they do. But because of a couple of miscues, an unearned run scores for San Diego, and after 3 innings, Larks 5, the San Diego Stars 1. Top of the 4th inning, and there's another look at our field cam. I really like this. Wonder how close that cameraman could get once we start playing live. Let me just hang right there for a while and see what happens. 5-1 our score. Hayes with the lead. No, that's a little dangerous, but it's a nice look. It's a very nice look. New pitcher out on the hill for the San Diego Stars, as Hayes is out to a 5-1 lead. That's Caden Henson out of Santee, California. That's the new pitcher for San Diego, Caden Henson. And Henson will fire the first pitch at 88 miles an hour, down and away, 1 ball and no strikes to Landon Bailey. Henson ready and delivers the 1-0, and it's swung on and fouled, back and out of play. And that'll even things up. 1 ball and 1 strike. Landon Bailey had a soft little liner out to the shortstop. His only plate appearance so far, so he's 0 for 1. Excuse me, C.J. Reed. 1-1, and the pitch chopped foul with the plate. And the count's now 1 ball and 2 strikes to Reed. Reed grounded to short. Now that I'm looking at the right person on the right score sheet, he's 0 for 1, but does have an RBI. A ball and 2 strikes to Reed. Here comes the pitch. And it's fouled back to the screen. And the count's 1 ball and 2 strikes. One and 2. Henson ready and delivers way down and in. And the count is now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Caden Henson is 6 feet, 180 pounds, and he'll be pitching at the University of San Diego, or UCSD as it says on the roster for the San Diego Stars. 2 balls and 2 strikes, and the pitch. Swung on and missed. They're going to have to try to throw to first. This could be a tough play, and the throw to first is just in the nick of time. And wow, Frank Giacalone did a great job of concentrating on the ball coming his way, because it looked like it was thrown right over the head of C.J. Reed in order to retire Reed. Landon Bailey just simply couldn't find the ball. Then when he did, he dropped it, picked it back up, and threw to first. And Giacalone, it's not as easy as he made it look, but it's a strikeout and 1 away. So back to the top of the order we go with Lane Sparks. This is already his 3rd trip to the plate, and he has been on base both times. He has singled and walked. 1 in the first for the Larks, 1 in the second, then a 3 spot in the third. They lead 5-1. Sparks is ready on the pitch. In there for a strike on the outer edge. No balls and a strike. Lane Sparks from Brenham, Texas. That's the home of Bluebell ice cream. 0-1. Here's the pitch. And that's a fastball outside. I believe that's also the hometown of Nolan Ryan. A ball and a strike with 1 out. Top of the 4th inning, 5-1, Hayes with the lead. Henson is ready through the wind, and he delivers way inside. The count is now 2 balls and 1 strike. The pitch. That's a fastball at 90, but misses low. Caden Henson went to Patrick Henry High School. Graduated just this past season, so he'll be off to, again, the University of California, San Diego, as the pitch is swung on and fouled back to the screen. Good job just to stay alive by Lane Sparks. Lane Sparks is heading to Lamar University in Beaumont, Texas. He most recently played at Houston Christian. The count's now full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. He hit .210 with a homer and 7 runs batted in 2024 at Houston Christian. Now off to Lamar, and he swings and misses here, and he's off to the dugout right away. So 2 strikeouts to start his stint for Caden Henson. That's a good start. And 2 up, 2 down for Trent Baker, and that's just what the San Diego Stars needed, was somebody to come on and start recording some outs. First pitch outside for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes, the count to Baker. Baker is 0 for 1. He walked in the first inning, flew out to right in the second. Takes outside, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Fouled back, 2-1. Trent Baker 1 for 6 in the tournament. It's 167, but that one base hit was a double. So he made the most of it. Here's the pitch. In there for a strike. Baker is shaking his head at the plate. I don't think he liked that call from Josh Shepis. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Larks have scored in each of the first 3 innings so far. This could be their first inning where they don't score. Baker trying to keep the inning alive. Here comes the pitch. Way outside, ball 3. And the count's now full at 3-2. Henson ready, and here comes the full count pitch. That's way outside indeed, and Baker does keep the inning alive. He draws a 2-out walk, so a runner at first with 2 outs for Thomas Lissy. And now the question becomes, I don't think it's a matter of if, but when does Trent Baker with 2 outs try and advance to second base by stealing? Thomas Lissy steps up to the plate, and Henson, without throwing a pitch home, already wants Baker to know he's thinking about him and throws a little token toss over there. Now Baker gets his lead. He's not going anywhere yet, and the first pitch to Lissy misses for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Hayes has been very aggressive in the early going in this one. There goes the runner. The pitch is down and in, and it gets away from the catcher Bailey, and down to second base goes Baker. He had second base stolen anyway. He got a great jump. I mean, he was almost halfway to second base before Henson even started his motion, and that will be a stolen base. The reason there was a question was because the pitch was wild, but it's not scored as a wild pitch because Baker was going to have second base stolen even if it wasn't a wild pitch. Here comes the pitch. Swung on and fouled, back to the screen. 2 balls and a strike, the count to Thomas Lissy with the runner in second and 2 away. Lissy was a part of the championship team for Hayes last year. He played collegiately at Incarnate Word this past season down in San Antonio, Texas. Here comes the pitch as the runner's going to third. Lissy sends one down the line and right. That's going to fall. That'll be a base hit. Here comes Baker to score on an RBI single for Thomas Lissy, and the Larks keep the string alive of scoring in every inning so far. It's 6-1. Well, that's just a good job of hitting by Lissy. Not a lot of power behind that, but placing it perfectly down the right field line. And he gets an RBI to his credit and a single, and Trent Baker comes around to score. And 6-1, Hayes has the lead. Here's Jackson Babcock, and he first pitch swings and sends one back and out of play. 0-1 to Babcock. That single by Thomas Lissy reminded me of the one he had on Saturday in the 9th inning. That was when Hayes overcame an 8-3 deficit in the top of the 9th inning against Oklahoma MVP. They scored 6 times and won the game. The pitch high for a ball, 1-1. The only base hit they got in a 6-run 9th inning was a single very similarly located by Thomas Lissy that brought home 2 runs. Here's the pitch, down and in. Good stop again by Landon Bailey. And I go back to what I've said a couple of times already, all of the walks that Hayes has drawn in this tournament. Well, in that 9th inning alone, they drew a bunch. 6 runs on just 1 base hit. And again, it was a Lissy 2 RBI single, similarly placed to where that one just was. Here's the pitch in there for a strike. That'll even things up now. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Jackson Babcock. 6 hits for the Larks now, but Babcock has yet to pick up one of them. He's 0 for 2. He is grounded out and flown out to third. Here's the 2-2. Swung on and a bouncing ball out to second. Fielded cleanly by Dunn. He'll throw to first in time for a 4-3. In the side, retired. Hayes leaves one, but they score one. And after 3.5, the Larks 6 and San Diego 1.
It's the summer sales event with the Ford crew.
It's the summer sales event. Great time to buy. Nice weekend, Hank?
Spectacular. Took the family camping, courtesy of Ford F-Series, the best-selling trucks for 48 years. Morgan?
Baseball tournament. Mike Sport at the Homeland Field.
How about you two?
Mud bath.
Get 0% APR financing with 0 down and 0 payments for up to 90 days on select Ford vehicles. Plus, get a complimentary maintenance plan for 24 months.
Every summer, the NBC World Series comes alive with energy, excitement, and the spirit of baseball. But what makes it truly special? Fans like you. Because of your support, kids get to experience the magic of the game. Your donations power youth clinics, grants, and equipment drives, while sharing Kaiser Carlisle's mantra to play hard and have fun. Together, we honor the legends of the past and preserve the rich history of the NBC World Series for generations to come.
The way, but Simon Lunsford's pitch inside, 2 balls and no strikes. Lunsford set again, and here comes the 2-0. And that one across, and it's 2-1. We'll see if Lunsford settles down now. He retired 8 in a row before giving up a walk in the last inning, and there were a couple of errors that allowed a run to score, so an unearned run. Now up 6-1. We'll see if he gets back on track. And he didn't get far off track at a 90-mile-an-hour fastball there. Misses outside 1-0. His defense let him down as much as anything. 2 errors in that last inning and an unearned run. And he still has his no-hitter intact. Here comes the pitch. And there's a strike, and it's now 3-2. That one at 76. He's done a really good job of mixing things up tonight as well. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And he's ready, and here comes the pitch. There's a slider swung on and missed. Boy, did he have him fooled that time. That one nowhere close to the zone, but it started off in it. And for Lunsford, that's another strikeout and 1 away. That's the 5th strikeout of the game for Lunsford, and now here's Frank Giacalone. And he takes a ball down and away, 1 ball and no strikes. Giacalone 0 for 1. He was the 2nd strikeout victim of the game for Lunsford, that back in the 2nd inning. Lunsford ready and delivers. And Giacalone tried to check his swing. I think that was a strike anyway. And the count is 1 ball and 1 strike. One and one, and the pitch. Swung on and a bouncing ball to second. C.J. Reed charges in, fires to first in time. There's a 4-3 put out, and 2 up, 2 down. This indeed does look like the Lunsford we saw through the first 2 2/3 innings. 2 quick outs, and now here's Ralph Dunn. Tomorrow, Seattle and Hutchinson will play, and Lone Star Kraken will play the winner of this game in the semifinals. Here's Ralph Dunn, and he'll send one to first on the ground, fielded by Babcock. An underhand toss to Lunsford covering for a 3-1 put out in the side, retired in a very easy bottom of the 4th inning for Hayes. After 4, Larks 6, San Diego 1.
There's something happening in Wichita. Excitement, movement, a vibe. A city that offers amazing experiences delivered with heart. Come see the place we love. We think you'll love it too. Discover more at visitwichita.com.
Every summer, the NBC World Series comes alive with energy, excitement, and the spirit of baseball. But what makes it truly special? Fans like you. Because of your support, kids get to experience the magic of the game. Your donations power youth clinics, grants, and equipment drives, while sharing Kaiser Carlisle's mantra to play hard and have fun. Together, we honor the legends of the past and preserve the rich history of the NBC World Series for generations to come.
Have you ever needed to stop or change the way you do something you love because of aches, pains, or injury? The physical therapists at Select Physical Therapy are here to get you back to work, life, and your favorite activities. Most importantly, your goals are their goals. Their movement experts will listen and develop an individualized treatment plan so you can heal. Begin care faster by requesting an appointment today at selectphysicaltherapy.com. Experience the power of physical therapy at Select Physical Therapy.
We move to the top of the 5th inning from X Stadium in Wichita. It's 6-1. The Hayes Larks have the lead. For Hayes, 6 runs, 6 hits, and 2 errors. For the San Diego Stars, a run on no hits, no errors. And leading off the top of the 5th inning for the Hayes Larks is a player who's very familiar with this ballpark, Caleb Duncan, who played this past season collegiately at Wichita State. He'll step in from the right side batter's box, and Duncan ready for the first pitch from Caden Henson, and it's down low for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. Duncan started his career redshirting at Nevada, Las Vegas in 2023, and then in 24 he was at Golden West Community College as he takes, and another ball, down low, 2 balls and no strikes. Then came to Wichita to play at Wichita State this past season. And in 41 games, he hit a .189. 2 balls, no strikes in the pitch. That one just outside, and it's now 3 balls and no strikes. Coming into the tournament, Duncan was hitting at .250. He was 3 for 12. 3 balls, no strikes. And the pitch, fastball on the outside edge at 87. It's 3-1. Tonight, Duncan started the game by grounding out to the pitcher. That was that controversial play. On the replay, it looked like he had clearly beaten the throw, but he was called out. 3-1. And the pitch, and down to first base he goes. There's ball 4, and Duncan makes his way down to first base. So San Diego will have to keep an eye on the speedy Caleb Duncan as their leadoff hitter is aboard. And now that'll bring Wilbert Espinal up to the plate. The 3rd time now in 5 innings that the Larks have had their leadoff batter aboard. Very aggressive, so you'd think Duncan will be going soon. And the first pitch to Espinal is high for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. Wilbert Espinal is 0 for 2. He is flied out to left, and he's the one that hit that line drive right back to the pitcher, which nearly created a double play. The pitch, down and in. Good stop again by Landon Bailey. 2 balls and no strikes. Caleb Duncan has yet to attempt a stolen base in the tournament. 2-0 here. We'll see if he's going. He's not on the pitch. Inside corner. A fastball at 86 miles an hour. And the count's now 2 balls and 1 strike. Henson set. There goes the runner. The pitch is a strike. The throw down to second base, not in time. A great jump by Duncan, and he slid halfway past the bag before the tag was applied. Duncan, as expected, showing good speed. He gets a stolen base, and he's in scoring position now. with nobody out. Larks have scored a run in each of the first 4 innings so far. Single runs in the first, second, and fourth, and a 3-spot in the third. 2 balls and 2 strikes, the count to Espinal. Henson looks back at second and pitches, and it's on the ground, a bouncer over toward first. Just inside the line, it's a fair ball, and Giancoloni will step on the bag for a 3 unassisted, but that gets the runner over to third base. With 1 away, Duncan is in scoring position now, 90 feet away. And there's 1 away. So here's Dylan LaRue, and what a night he is putting together. He is 2 for 2 with 2 runs batted in and 2 runs scored as well. The infield is in for San Diego. And the pitch to LaRue, swung on and a bouncing ball to second. The runner will hold at third. The throw is to first. Well, LaRue didn't waste any time, but he bounced one right to Dunn. And a good job by Duncan not risking it. 4-3 put out, 2 away. So Tabor Stokes, also putting together a nice evening, will step up. He is also 2 for 2, a couple of singles, including an RBI in the third inning. And here's the pitch to Stokes. That's a breaking ball at 80 miles an hour on the outside edge. No balls and a strike to Stokes. Tabor Stokes 3 for 13 coming into play tonight in the 3 games of the tournament so far for Hayes. He swings at this one and fouls it back and out of play. One of Stokes' 3 base hits, though, was a double, so that helps the slugging percentage, which was .538 when play started tonight. Nothing in 2 here, the pitch high and away. And now a 1 ball and 2 strike count. Semifinals tomorrow at 6 and 8:30. And then Saturday night, the championship game at 7. All of those are Central Times, by the way. The pitch is away, ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The championship game will be at Equity Bank Park downtown, the home of the AA affiliate of the Minnesota Twins. Equity Bank Park, the old site of Lawrence Dumont Stadium. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. And down goes Stokes, and for the first time tonight, Hayes comes up empty in an inning. Put a 0 on the board. Halfway home from Eck Stadium, Larks 6, San Diego 1.
The Taco Bell Cravings Value Menu. 10 choices, each just $3 or less. Starring the cheesy double beef burrito. Double the seasoned beef, all the cheesiness, and so much craveable flavor. Get it on the Cravings Value Menu, only at Taco Bell.
To the bottom of the 5th inning now in a 6-1 Hayes Larks lead. The winner of this game moves on to the semifinals tomorrow night to take on Lone Star Crockett, and so far Hayes is in the driver's seat to be that team, leading by 5 runs as we move to the bottom of the 5th inning. Gavin Jamino will lead off for San Diego, and the first pitch he sees from Simon Lunsford is in there for a strike. It's taken, 0-1. Jamino, Carter Lockwood, and Ethan Wright, 7, 8, and 9 for San Diego, trying to stir up the pot a little bit, and they've had trouble doing that. And the pitch is swung on in a one-hopper back to Lunsford, the pitcher on the mound. He reacts well, then jogs over toward first, and an underhand toss there for a 1-3 putout, and one away. The only real trouble that Lunsford got into was in the third inning, and that's when he had 2 outs after retiring the first 8 batters in a row. He walked, of all people, the number 9 hitter in the order. And then Hayes committed a couple of errors, and that run came around to score as an unearned run. First pitch to Carter Lockwood, down low, 1 ball and no strikes. But Lunsford came back in the 4th inning, retired the side in order, and he's started off the 5th, 1 up, 1 down. The pitch at 77 outside, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Lunsford has struck out 5 through 4 1/3. Here's the 2-0 pitch, just inside. And the Hayes faithful really writing home plate umpire Josh Shepis about that one. They thought that was there. Pretty good Hayes following, by the way. 3-0, and there's ball 4. That definitely was inside, and that's the second walk issued tonight by Simon Lunsford. And they've come, interestingly enough, to the numbers 8 and 9 hitters in the lineup for San Diego. Here's Ethan Wright, the first player that he walked a couple of innings ago. So one of the rare times tonight Lunsford will stretch, and he'll fire home. And at 89, he delivers a strike, 0-1. Lockwood's getting a decent lead, inching away from the bag, but down by 5 runs. You wonder how eager San Diego is to try and steal bases. The pitch is inside for a ball, 1-1. It's getting to the point where they're going to need to string together quite a few base hits regardless. So is it really worth the risk of trying to steal? 1-1. And the pitch. Hot shot towards second. It's fielded there. This could be a double play. DJ Reed to Stokes for 1. Over to first, a double play. 4-6-3, tailor-made. As it was not to Reed, his momentum was going toward the bag. That made it an easy toss to it. And then the relay from Stokes was in time. So the side retired. We've played 5. Larks 6, San Diego 1.
At Evergy, we're focused not just on what we power, but on who we power, right here in our community. We provide payment assistance to our neighbors who need it. Invest in organizations and people, creating opportunity for all to benefit. And volunteer our time around our hometown so that together we improve it. Because we're committed to spreading good energy throughout our community. Evergy, the utility company.
BMA's residential cleaning service knows there's no place like home, especially when your home is cleaned by our experienced staff. From floor to ceiling, we've got you covered. Learn more at bmasclean.com. BMA's Cleaning Sports, PBS Kansas. Seriously good TV.
There's a good look at C.J. Reed that'll lead off the 6th inning for the Hayes Larks, leading the San Diego Stars by the score of 6-1. Hayes trying to go 4-0 in the tournament and put themselves in the semifinals. They've made 7 trips to the championship game, have the Larks. And 6 of those 7 times they came up empty, but last year was their elusive first ever title. Now they're looking for a repeat. And they're 3 wins away. So C.J. Reed steps in to start the top of the 6th inning, and the first pitch to Reed, a little check swing bouncer foul up the first baseline. So 0-1, the count to Reed. C.J. grounded out to short back in the 2nd inning, but drove home a run in doing so. And he struck out in the 4th inning, so he's 0 for 2, but he does have the benefit of an RBI. Caden Hinson is still out there. This is his 3rd inning of work, and he delivers a slider that just stays away, barely to the left-handed hitting Reed, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. CJ Reed played right up the road at Butler Community College, hit .298 this past season with 7 home runs, but he was fooled on a slider there and swings and misses, and it's 1-2. .298 with 7 homers, 32 runs batted in. That was actually in 2024, I beg your pardon. The pitch, high and away for a ball. Did not play this past season. Now he's going to Ohio State next after finishing up the junior college route. 2-2. And the pitch fouled back and out of play. In 2025, he played at Hutch Junior College. 2 balls and 2 strikes, so Reed will try it again. He's the number 9 hitter in the order for Hayes, so back to the top of the order next with Lane Sparks. Here's the 2-2, high and away for a ball. And the count's run full at 3-2. Six hits on the night for the Larks, still none for San Diego as we are now in the top of the 6th inning. Here's the full count pitch, swung on and pretty well struck. Driven to center field, Justin Tucker going back and to his left, and then about 15 feet in front of the track, he tracks it down for a long fly ball to center and 1 away. That's one of the farthest balls we've seen hit this evening. Dylan LaRue's double banged off the wall in right field, but that's the only one that's been close to it right there, the fly ball to center by CJ Reed, but Reed's was all for naught as it was caught by Tucker in center. Here's Lane Sparks now, and Sparks takes the first pitch for a strike, 0-1. A symmetrical ballpark here at X Stadium, 330 down the lines, 375 to the power alleys, and 390 feet to straightaway center field. This one is well struck, but it hooks foul down the right field line by Lane Sparks. So the count is quickly 0-2 to him. Sparks struck out his last time up. He's 1 for 2. He has singled and walked as well. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, and for the 2nd time in a row, he's a strikeout victim swinging. So 2 outs now, 2 up and 2 down. And here comes Trent Baker. Well, you look up and down the Hayes lineup. I mentioned earlier their collective batting average in the tournament coming into play just .231. And only really Thomas Lissy is the one that's consistently hitting through 3 games. The first pitch to Trent Baker, he couldn't check his swing, and it's 0-1. Lissy came into play tonight at 4 for 12. He's the only one in the starting lineup tonight hitting above 300. The pitch is outside, and I mean way outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Lissy has another base hit tonight. A ball and a strike. Here comes the pitch. Down and away. And it's now 2-1. Speaking of Thomas Lissy, he waits on deck, but there are 2 outs here in the inning. Here's the pitch. Fouled over the netting behind the plate and on into the seats, and that'll be a souvenir. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The wind still blowing in out of right field. That flag in right field is blowing in. It's a highly unusual northeasterly wind. 2-2. Here's the pitch. A little soft floater into foul territory on the right side, and backing up is Giancoloni, and he's going to make the catch in foul ground about 50 feet beyond the bag at first. And the Hayes Larks, for the first time tonight, go 1-2-3. After 5.5, Larks 6, San Diego 1.
Love was nearly lost until Pizza Hut showed up.
Go get her.
Hi, I'm Peter.
Looks like a meat lover's Deborah.
Pizza Hut's hooking everyone up with more of what they love. Choose from 4 Hut Lovers pizzas starting at $12.99 each. Order on the app.
When you look for a place to learn, train, and grow, you need something that fits with your life. At Butler Community College, we want you to reach your goals in the most affordable way possible. That's why we keep our tuition rates low, so you don't have to stress about your future.
It's why we offer hundreds of scholarship opportunities for pursuing your passion.
And it's why we work hard to provide a professional higher education at a lower price tag. Butler Community College. Real college, really affordable.
There's Joe Anderson getting some warm-up swings in before he takes the plate here in the bottom of the 6th inning. 6-1 is our score. Hayes on top of the San Diego Stars, and there is the star of the night so far, Simon Lunsford, as we're in the bottom of the 6th inning, and he has a no-hitter that we will start talking more and more about now because you're getting into the late innings. The first pitch to start the bottom of the 6th is a changeup at 75, and it is up high for a ball to Anderson. 1 ball and no strikes. And the pitch swung on and a couple of hops out to short, fielded by Tabor Stokes. And Stokes will throw to first, and it was juggled at first base by Jackson Babcock. Boy, it was a pretty routine play, and the first base umpire, Lance Vaughn, says Babcock juggled it, and that's an error, and they're going to give it to the shortstop. Well, it's interesting because I guess it was a little bit wide of the bag, and Lance Vaughn, the first base umpire, made a juggling motion, but clearly Babcock came off the bag, so that's probably the right decision. E6 at first, looking at it live, as it's 1 ball and no strikes to Logan Aguilar. The home plate umpire said that the first baseman juggled it. I thought that meant that it was just on the first baseman for juggling it, but the throw was indeed wide. There's a fly ball to left center field, tracked down by Trent Baker. And there's one away. That is the 3rd error on the Hayes Larks tonight. If you were to tell Frank Leo that his team would commit 3 errors through the first 5 1/3 innings, he probably wouldn't be terribly optimistic that his team would be ahead, let alone by 5 runs. But Simon Lunsford now has gone 5 2/3 or 5 1/3, and he's working on a no-hitter. Here's Justin Tucker taking a strike, 0-1. As you can obviously tell, we don't play the jinx game around here. No balls and a strike. Lunsford to Tucker, in tight for a ball. It's 1-1. The scorebug shows the runs, but it doesn't show you the hits. But to this point, Simon Lunsford has not given up a 1. Here's the pitch, down and away. And the count's 2-1. Errors have plagued the Hayes Larks throughout this tournament, and it's really strange for them to be 3-0 in this tournament, looking to go 4-0 with some of the issues they've had defensively, as there's a strike and the count's 2-2. This has not been a clean and crisp tournament overall for Hayes, but they've navigated through it nonetheless to a 3-0 start. They've committed 7 errors now in the tournament, 4 of them starting play tonight, and then 3 here tonight. Throw over to first, and back in easily is Joe Anderson. Two balls and 2 strikes. And the pitch. Check swing, and it's fouled at the plate. And the count remains 2-2. So Simon Lunsford, one of the rare times tonight, working from the stretch, Fires home, and the pitch is a little slow roller. Foul, though. It was off of Tucker, and so he stays alive. From up here, it was hard to tell that it was fouled off of his ankle, but indeed he's got a protective covering around his ankle, and he fouled it right off of it. So we'll try it again. 2 balls and 2 strikes. With a runner at first, 1 out, 6-1. Hayes with the lead. Lunsford ready and deals up high. 85 miles an hour, but he left it upstairs, and the count's now full at 3-2. So we'll see what Anderson has thoughts of with the count 3-2 and 1 out. If he's going on a full count here, he's not. And here's the pitch, chopped at the plate, foul again. I mentioned earlier that down by 5 runs, especially the later you get, the less likely it is that San Diego might look to steal. They're just going to need to string a lot of hits together. But then again, with the count full, it makes you wonder if maybe they might give it a shot. See if Tucker can put one in play. So we'll try the 3-2 count again, and the pitch, and that's ball 4, and down to first base goes Justin Tucker. So an error and a walk have put runners at first and second for San Diego here with 1 out. And now Landon Bailey, the cleanup hitter, steps in. Hayes got a tailor-made 4-6-3 double play in a similar situation in the last inning. They're going to look for something like that again here. Here's the pitch, and it's fouled at the plate, 0-1. Landon Bailey was swinging for 21st Street right there, but sent it straight backwards, and it's 0-1. Bailey struck out back in the 4th inning. He was the 5th strikeout victim for Lunsford tonight, and that's where Lunsford still sits, is with 5. Here's the pitch. At 89 miles an hour, just outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Bailey ready, so is Lunsford, who checks the runners, and the pitch. Down and away, and it's 2-1, and well, you wonder if maybe Lunsford is starting to tire a little bit. He's starting to miss the mark more consistently, and in fact, right on cue, time has been called, and there's going to be a conversation out on the pitcher's mound now. This weekend is alumni weekend at the NBC, both Friday and Saturday. Friday's 2 games, again, will be here at Eck Stadium on the campus of Wichita State, 6 and 8:30, and then Saturday's championship game in downtown Wichita at Equity Bank Park at 7 o'clock. And the NBC is inviting all former coaches and players to come on out to the NBC this weekend and be a part of alumni weekend festivities. This 91-year-old tournament wants to celebrate all of the alumni that have participated in the tournament. So if you're watching and you have an opportunity to come on out to Eck Stadium for the 2 games tomorrow night or the championship game on Saturday, come on out. They'd love to have you. Alumni weekend at the NBC starting tomorrow night. All right, the count's 2-1. So Landon Bailey with runners at first and second and 1 away. Hayes guarding a 5-run lead. Lunsford ready and delivers. And there's a strike, much needed. And that'll even things up now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Anderson the runner at second. Tucker's over at first. Lunsford stretches and looks at second a couple of times. He deals home, and a swing and a miss, and strike 3. The catcher drops the ball, but there will be no throw to first because it's occupied. And now 2 outs. Well, I mentioned that the last time Lunsford got a strikeout victim was to Landon Bailey in the 4th inning. Well, that means Bailey is now struck out twice in a row. And he is the back-to-back victims of Lunsford's last 2 strikeouts. Here's Frank Giacoloni, and the first pitch to him a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. So no hits given up by Simon Lunsford through 5 2/3, 6 strikeouts. But he's had to navigate through a little bit of trouble because of some shoddy Hayes defense. They've committed 3 errors. Here's the pitch. Big swing and a miss as he took something off there, and the count's now 1 ball and 1 strike. The wind has started to pick up a little bit in from right field. I mentioned earlier we haven't seen a lot of balls hit very far tonight, and that's exactly the reason why. Here's the pitch. There's a slider. Did he check his swing? He did not, says Lance Vaughn at first. And just when you thought that Lunsford might be starting to tire, that little trip out to the mound seems to have changed things, because he's starting to get dialed in again and finding the strike zone. There is a little bit of activity, or at least somebody loose stretching down in the Hayes bullpen, but not throwing yet. Here's the pitch, just missed outside. At 75, LaRue tried to frame it, but Josh Shepis says it missed. And that didn't miss by much. And the fans in red, white, and blue for Hayes are sure letting him know about it, but the count's now even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Runners at first and second, 2 away. Bottom of the 6th inning. Here's the pitch. And that one misses, and Lunsford was heading toward the third base dugout. He thought that was strike 3 as well. Now he's going to go behind the mound and take his cap off and really calm his mind more than anything, because on the last 2 pitches, I think he felt like both of them were strikes. Now the count is full. The runners will be moving on motion with a full count and 2 outs. Here comes the 3-2 pitch to Giancoloni. Swung on and missed, strike 3. And down he goes. And Lunsford has some encouragement for himself as he's pumped up coming off the mound. And the side retired with San Diego stranding 2. After 6, Larks 6, the start.
At Evergy, we're focused not just on what we power, but on who we power, right here in our community. We provide payment assistance to our neighbors who need it. Invest in organizations and people, creating opportunity for all to benefit. And volunteer our time around our hometown so that together we improve it, because we're committed to spreading good energy throughout our community. Evergy, the utility company.
Love was nearly lost until Pizza Hut showed up.
Go get her. Hi, I'm Peter.
Looks like a meat lover's Deborah.
Pizza Hut's hooking everyone up with more of what they love. Choose from 4 Hut Lovers pizzas starting at $12.99 each. Order on the app.
Well, there's the legend. Hayes Larks coach Frank Leo, already a member of the NBC Hall of Fame. The man has been doing it for a long time for the Larks and doing it very well. Again, 49 NBC World Series appearances for the Larks, 6 second-place finishes in this tournament, and a championship last year that he's trying to lead his team to repeating again this year, and we'll find out tonight, tomorrow night, maybe Saturday night as late as there, if he's able to do that or not. Still a little work to do, though, tonight. His team is up by 5 runs as we start the top of the 7th inning. And it'll be Thomas Lissy that'll get things started off for the Larks. Lissy, Jackson Babcock, and Caleb Duncan, 3, 4, and 5 for Hayes, up by the score of 6-1. Caden Henson is still out there working for San Diego as Lissy first pitch swings and sends a sinking liner into right field, and Ethan Wright slides forward on his knees and makes a nice catch. Well, that had a lot of overspin on it, and Wright came on and caught it about ankle high and then went down to his knees sliding forward. That's a nice job by Ethan Wright. And Lissy, a hard luck out there. So 1 out now on 1 pitch, and here's Jackson Babcock. And Babcock sends the first pitch back to the backstop, 0-1 to Babcock. Well, you can just feel around this ballpark today the intensity increasing with each game. As each inning goes by, there's a swing and a miss for a strike. On an off-speed pitch, 0-2. And that will only increase tomorrow with just 2 games, the 2 semifinals, and then it all culminates on Saturday with the championship game. There's another off-speed pitch swung on and missed. It's dropped behind the plate by Landon Bailey. He'll have to fire to first in time, which he does, for a strikeout that goes 2-3 and 2 quick outs here in the top of the 7th inning. Well, Caden Henson has done a really nice job of restoring order for San Diego, as the Larks of Hayes had scored in each of the first 4 innings, but they have not scored now since the 4th inning, and they've got 2 goose eggs back-to-back in a row, and on the verge of 3 unless Caleb Duncan can keep the inning alive. The pitch to Duncan is outside for a ball, 1-0. Duncan walked his last time up, and he stole second base, but was stranded at third when the inning came to an end. Right-handed hitter, and the pitch outside, and it's now 2 balls and no strikes. Henson set and delivers, and this one inside. And the count's 3-0. Caleb Duncan has not seen much good to hit in his last couple of at-bats. It was a 5-pitch walk, I believe, his last time up, and right now he's ahead in the count 3-0, and here comes the pitch. And there's a strike at 88, but Duncan obviously taking all the way this time. And the count's now 3 balls and a strike. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Lined into center field, that's down for a base hit. So Caleb Duncan sends one out where he plays defensively, which is to center field. And he's aboard with a 2-out single. So with 2 outs, a runner at first, and Wilbert Espinal steps up to the plate. And once again, the question is probably not if, but when Caleb Duncan will try and steal second base. Great speed out there and 2 away. The first pitch to Espinal at 78, something taken off, and he took a big cut but was out in front. 0-1. Duncan a head first slide back, and a pretty good move that time by Henson. He realizes Duncan has his thoughts set on trying to swipe second. But he was back, 0-1. Henson stretches, and the pitch down low, and the count's now 1 ball and 1 strike. Wilbert Espinal was 2 for 8 coming into the tournament, coming into play tonight in the tournament. One of his 2 hits was a double, as he takes down and away 2 balls and a strike. But as I mentioned earlier, only Thomas Lissy is hitting above 300 of those in the starting lineup for Hayes tonight in the tournament. Throw over to first, and again, Duncan having to dive back. Looked like he might have even been leaning the other way. But he got back in time, 2 balls and a strike. There he goes, here's the pitch, and it's outside, but did they call a balk? I believe they did. Home plate umpire Josh Shepis pointed right before the throw was to second base, and I'm not sure if he had indicated a balk, but he pointed down at second base. He didn't stick the right hand out toward first base dugout. He stuck it straight toward second, like maybe he was calling a balk. He must have, because the count is still 2 balls and a strike, and now this pitch comes inside, and did he check his swing? He did not, and it's 3-1. So the count now 3 balls and a strike with a runner in scoring position. 6-1 the score. Hayes with the lead and looking to add to their lead now. 6 runs and 7 hits for the Larks. Here's the pitch to Espinal. Just outside. At 86, Landon Bailey tried to frame that fastball on the outside edge to the left-handed hitter, but to no avail. So Espinal walks. And now first and second with 2 away for Dylan LaRue. LaRue was crushing the ball in his first 2 at-bats before grounding out to second his last time up. First pitch to him is down and in for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Henson stretches, not concerning himself with the runners with 2 outs, and delivers home, and it's swung on and fouled, backing out of play. And the count's 1 ball and 1 strike to Dylan LaRue. LaRue out of Blanco, Texas. Ball and a strike, the count to him, and the pitch swung on, and a bouncing ball right back to Henson on the mound. He'll field it easily, jog toward first, and an underhand throw to first in time. There's a 1-3 put out to retire the side as Hayes strands 2. Stretch time at Eck. Larks 6, San Diego 1.
DMA's residential cleaning service knows there's no place like home, especially when your home is cleaned by our experienced staff. From floor to ceiling, we've got you covered. Learn more at bmasclean.com. BMA's Cleaning Sports, PBS Kansas. Seriously good TV.
On to the bottom of the 7th inning, 6-1 our score. Hayes with the lead. And Simon Lunsford remains out there, and why not? The guy's gone 6 innings so far, and he has yet to give up a hit. This is the most dominating performance by the Larks so far in this tournament. Of their 3 wins so far, they've won by scores of 6-5, 9-8, and 7-4. And even when they are up by 5 runs tonight, even though they've committed 3 errors, but Lunsford has been so good. San Diego has yet to get a base hit tonight. The first pitch to Ralph Dunn is down and inside for a ball. It's 1 ball and no strikes to Dunn. Dunn, Gavin Jamino, and Carter Lockwood, 6, 7, and 8 for San Diego, desperately trying to get some offense going. There's a swing and a miss for a strike. It's 1-1. And get some runs on the board. They do have 1. It's an unearned run, but that is all so far. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Lunsford took something off there at 80, but it missed, and it's now 2 balls and a strike. 7 strikeouts for Lunsford through 6 innings. Here's the pitch. And that one misses high, and the count's now 3-1. Lunsford goes back behind the rubber momentarily to gather himself. Now delivers a 3-1, and it's across and swung on and fouled, backing out of play, and it's 3-2. In the last inning, after an error, he had gotten behind in the count, and one of his coaches came out and chatted with him, and he got right dialed back in and then ended the inning with back-to-back strikeouts, and there's a strikeout swinging there for number 8 on the night, as Dunn goes down swinging for the first time tonight. But that's the 8th K for Lunsford, and there's 1 away. And that'll bring up Gavin Jamino. Jamino is one of the 8 strikeout victims for Lunsford. He was caught looking in the 3rd. He grounded back to Lunsford in the 5th. Here's the pitch. That's up high for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. The 1-0, foul back and out of play. And the count is 1 ball and 1 strike. Jamino, 9 plate appearances coming into play tonight. He was 1 for 9 with a double. He lifts this one high and foul and out of play. The third baseman, Lissy, and the catcher, LaRue, over toward the backstop to have a look, but it lands harmlessly in the seats, and the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. 6-1 Hayes. Bottom of the 7th inning. Here's the 1-2 pitch. He pulled the string again. There's a swing and a miss, and another throw down to first for a 2-3 putout on the 9th strikeout of the game for Simon Lunsford, and his no-hitter is still intact. 3 Hayes errors in the contest. One of them led to an unearned run back in the 3rd inning, but that runner reached on a walk. And he has issued a couple of those, but no base hits. Here's Carter Lockwood, and Lockwood takes the first pitch for a ball, 1-0. Lockwood, like so many of these San Diego players, played at Mesa Community College. Here's the pitch, in there for a strike, and it's 1-1. Lockwood was a freshman at Mesa College this past season, hit .294. The pitch. He took something off at 79. That's in there for a strike, and it's 1-2. Not to be confused with Mesa State University, which is where Lunsford's going to go next year. This one down and in, and it's 2-2. Mesa College is in San Diego, where a lot of these Stars players have played or will continue to. And Mesa State is in western Colorado. Here's the pitch. That's high for a ball. Grand Junction, Colorado, I believe. 3 balls and 2 strikes, the count to Carter Lockwood with nobody on and 2 outs. Here comes the full count pitch. Just missed inside. And that'll send Lockwood down to first base. So a full count walk, and Lockwood with 2 outs goes down to first. That's the 4th walk issued tonight by Lunsford, but 8 strikeouts and no hit still for San Diego. And here's Ethan Wright, the number 9 hitter in their order, stepping in now. And the pitch to Wright. That's up high for a ball, 1-0. Wright was the first to walk against Lunsford back in the 3rd inning, and he's the one that eventually came around to score on an unearned run. Here's the pitch. And that one misses for a ball, and it's 2-0. Joe Anderson flew one out to right field, and Lane Sparks ran back into his right, then stopped and was ready to catch the ball and had to reach across his body. It's almost like he overran it a little bit. He got a glove on it and then knocked it down to the turf. And all the way from first base, Ethan Wright came around to score. Well, time has been called, and it looks like the Hayes Larks are going to make a pitching change and a standing ovation for Simon Lunsford, who's going to leave the game with a no-hitter. And Lunsford will get a high five from the relief pitcher coming on, and a lot of high fives heading to the dugout. He went 6 2/3 of no-hit ball, and the only run that scored for San Diego, an unearned run. What a job for the recent high school graduate. Larks leading 6-1, pitching change being made, timeout on the field. Right-hander Seth Lee is now coming on for the Hayes Larks in relief of Simon Lunsford, and what a job Lunsford did. 6 2/3 innings of no hit ball. No earned runs allowed as well. San Diego does have a run on the board, but it was unearned. It's 6-1 Larks here in the bottom of the 7th inning over the San Diego Stars. San Diego with 2 outs and a runner at first base. And Ethan Wright will be the first batter to face the new pitcher. And Seth Lee comes out. Seth Lee pitched at Pima College this past season, and for the Aztecs, he appeared in 11 games. He also appeared in 16 in 2024. He works from the stretch. We'll see if he can preserve the no-hitter. The first pitch to Ethan Wright is up high for a ball, 1-0. 39 total innings in 2 seasons at Pima for Seth Lee. His record was 3-3 overall with a save. 3 balls and no strikes, and the pitch is up high, ball 4. Well, Lee came on having already inherited a count, and now down to first base goes Ethan Wright with a walk, and that will send Carter Lockwood down to second base. So first and second now and 2 outs, and back to the top of the order for Joe Anderson. Seth Lee had a career 3.23 earned run average in 2 seasons at Pima. As he delivers a fastball across this time to Joe Anderson, much needed strike, and it's 0-1. Lee actually appeared in 27 innings in 2024 as a sophomore, as a freshman. Inside swing and a miss. That was tailing down and into the right-handed hitter, but Anderson went after it anyway. He pitched in 27 innings as a freshman, though, and just 12 as a sophomore this past season. Now Seth Lee will next pitch at the University of New Mexico. 0-2, the count here. And the pitch at 91 miles an hour. Fastball misses outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now time has been called. Dylan LaRue comes out to talk to Seth Lee. Lee is out of Rio Rancho, New Mexico. A ball and 2 strikes. And here comes the pitch. Boy, he took something off, took a lot off at 72, but the change is high and tight, and it's 2-2. Lee ready and delivers. He worked the outside edge, but too far outside, and Seth Lee started heading toward the third base dugout when he came off the mound. He thought that was strike 3, and in frustration, he goes behind the mound, shakes around the rosin bag, and now has to work on a full count pitch. 3 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs and runners at first and second. They'll be in motion with Hayes leading by the score of 6-1. And here comes the full count pitch as the runners go, swung on and missed, strike 3. And down goes San Diego. They strand 2, and they remain hitless. We go to the 8th. Larks 6, San Diego 1.
It's the summer sales event with the Ford crew.
It's the summer sales event. Great time to buy. Nice weekend, Hank?
Spectacular. Took the family camping, courtesy of Ford F-Series, the best-selling trucks for 48 years. Morgan?
Baseball tournament. Mike Sport at the Homeland Field.
How about you two?
Mud bath.
Get 0% APR financing with 0 down and 0 payments for up to 90 days on select Ford vehicles. Plus, get a complimentary maintenance plan for 24 months.
Every summer, the NBC World Series comes alive with energy, excitement, and the spirit of baseball. But what makes it truly special? Fans like you. Because of your support, kids get to experience the magic of the game. Your donations power youth clinics, grants, and equipment drives, while sharing Kaiser Carlisle's mantra to play hard and have fun. Together, we honor the legends of the past and preserve the rich history of the NBC World Series for generations to come.
The 8th inning now from Eck Stadium in Wichita. Tabor Stokes will lead it off for the Hayes Larks, leading by the score of 6-1. Tabor Stokes takes the first pitch, and it's inside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Stokes, C.J. Reed, and Lane Sparks 8-9-1 for the Larks, trying to add to their 6-1 lead on a night where 2 Hayes pitchers so far have combined for a no-hitter. The pitch from Ethan Hendrick is swung on and fouled back to the screen. And the count is now 1 ball and 1 strike. And I mentioned earlier the job that Ethan Henson has done, Caden Henson, out of relief for San Diego. And there's the pitch in there for a strike. But Henson has really quieted the Larks. They have remained off the scoreboard since the 4th inning. A ball and 2 strikes, and the pitch fouled straight back and out of play. That's not too far from us, down to the right. So a ball and 2 strikes, and Henson will try it again to Stokes. Stretches, pitches, way outside. Ball 2, 2-0. Tabor Stokes with 2 big hits early in the game. Couple of singles and an RBI in the 3rd inning. He struck out in the 5th. And now, Caden Henson steps off the rubber, and he wants his catcher to go through the signals again. So Bailey does. Henson delivers, and it's down and away for a ball. And the count's now full at 3-2. So 3-2. Here's the pitch. Lined into left field. That'll be a base hit. Right over the glove on the outstretched arm of Logan Aguilar at short. Tabor Stokes gets his 3rd base hit of the night. All 3 of them singles, and he's on at first base for the Larks. And that'll get C.J. Reed up to the plate. Fourth time tonight in 8 innings that the Larks have had their leadoff batter aboard. That is the first time, though, since the 5th inning. There goes the runner. Reed's showing bunt. He won't. The throw is way late to second base, and Tabor Stokes has a stolen base. So an easy trip down to second for Stokes as the throw was way late, and he's at second base now. 1 ball and no strikes to C.J. Reed, who showed bunt but then pulled it back. And the 1-0, he's showing bunt again, and he pulls back, but this time it was a strike. And the count's 1 ball and 1 strike. The shortstop Aguilar cheating right in behind the runner at second. Stokes as squaring to bunt is Reed, and it trickles foul. And the count's 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Reed will likely not be bunting now, and at the corners they were playing tight. Now they play back at normal depth with 2 strikes on the hitter. Henson checks the runner at second. Checks it twice. Now throws home. And the pitch down and in, and a good stop by Landon Bailey. Boy, both of these catchers have done a really good job tonight. They've had a lot of breaking balls that they've had to slide left and slide right for and keep them from getting behind them, and done a pretty good job of that. So 2 balls and 2 strikes, and now Josh Shepis is asking for a few more baseballs. The home plate umpire is, and he's got them and about ready to go. The Hayes Larks won the Rocky Mountain Baseball League with a 28-4 record this season. Two balls and two strikes. Nobody out here in the inning with a runner at second. The pitch is down and away for a ball, and it's run full now, 3-2. Lane Sparks waits on deck. As after Reed, Hayes will flip it back to the top of the order. 3 balls and 2 strikes, and here comes the full count pitch, swung on and missed, strike 3, and down goes C.J. Reed. Well, Reed having a tough night tonight. He does have an RBI, but he is also hitless, and he struck out in 2 of his last 3 plate appearances. So 1 away, and now here is Lane Sparks back at the top of the order for the Larks. Here's a pickoff play at second, and they had the runner possibly, but heading to third was Stokes, and he slides in safely. Stokes was a good 10 or 15 feet off the bag at second. The shortstop Aguilar slid in behind him, and when the throw went to second, Stokes ran for third. And that paid off because the ball then trickled away from Aguilar, went on into center field, and it was an easy trip to third for Tabor Stokes, where he is now. And that brings the infield in as the pitch is down and away. 1 ball and no strikes to Lane Sparks. So down by 5 runs in the top of the 7th inning. San Diego forced to bring the infield in. A ball and no strikes at the plate to Lane Sparks, and now it's 2-0 as he takes inside. Again, San Diego played a game this morning and is having to play again tonight. Not an easy thing to do as the pitch is swung on and lifted. Almost right above the plate. Now it's behind it, and the catcher diving over to his left. Landon Bailey makes an outstanding play. Bailey went off with the mask right away and almost hovered over the plate, then realized he needed to move back towards the backstop, then lunged to his left at the last minute, diving down to the turf. What a catch. That's also the second out of the inning, so the infield will play at normal depth. As Trent Baker is now the batter. Baker just 1 for 6 when the tournament play started tonight as he takes a strike, 0-1. No base hits for him tonight either. He's 0 for 2, so he's 1 for 8, although he has walked twice tonight, stolen a couple of bases, and scored a run. The pitch. Sliced the other way, slicing foul over toward the San Diego dugout, and it'll land in play and then bounce into the San Diego dugout. So no balls and 2 strikes now. The winner of this game will play Lone Star Kraken tomorrow. The semifinal games will be at 6 and 8:30 Central Time. Henson stretches and delivers, and the pitch is swung on and bounced foul over toward the third base dugout. So the count is 0-2. 6-1 Hayes. Top of the 8th inning. Larks have 8 hits. San Diego with none. Here's the pitch. This one is well struck to center field. Back on his horse is Justin Tucker. He's not going to get there. It's going to roll all the way to the wall. Baker rounding second. Now he'll stop right there and retreat with a stand-up RBI double. It's 7-1 Larks. As Trent Baker gave that one a really good ride to center field. He kept it low, although the wind has died down. And that one hit the fence after a couple of hops. And an easy trip home for Tabor Stokes for the 7th Larks run of the night. So 7-1 is the score, and now here's Thomas Lissy. Lissy swings and misses at the first pitch, 0-1. Lissy, a hard luck line drive to shallow right field. His last time up, Ethan Wright came sliding forward on his knees to make a nice catch. He blooped a single down the right field line earlier in the contest. 0-1, and here's the pitch. At 90 miles an hour, it misses away. 1 ball and 1 strike. I mentioned earlier, Lissy, the only member of the starting lineup hitting above 300 at 4 for 12 coming into play tonight. And he's 1 for 3 this evening, although there's a strike, and he's down in the count here, 1 for 2, 1-2. Henson, a long look in at the sign from Landon Bailey as catcher. He won't look at second. He'll throw home instead, and Lissy yanks it foul down the first baseline. So the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes to Lissy. This time Henson does briefly look at second. Dancing around back there is Baker. The pitch to Lissy is swung on and driven to center field. Drifting back a little bit is Justin Tucker casually, though. He'll track it down for the 3rd out of the inning. But for the first time in 4 innings, the Larks score a run. They've upped their lead to 6. Larks 7, San Diego 1 with a no-hitter intact as well as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. Seth Lee came on in the middle of the 7th inning as the second pitcher used for the Hayes Larks tonight. Now he will start the 8th inning fresh with not only his Larks leading by the score of 7-1, but the big story now is Lee and his starting pitcher and teammate are combining so far for a no-hitter. Can they keep it intact now as we go to the 8th inning? First batter that Lee will face is Aguilar, and Aguilar, the first pitch of ball, 1 ball on no strikes. Aguilar reached on an error in the 3rd inning, but he's flied out and struck out as well, and he's now ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Next pitch misses again, and it's 3-0. So Simon Lunsford got it started. And Lunsford went 7 2/3, and now Seth Lee trying to finish off the no-hitter, but instead he issues a walk to start the bottom of the 8th inning. Logan Aguilar down to first base to lead it off for San Diego. And that's just the second time tonight that San Diego has gotten their leadoff batter aboard. The first time was 2 innings ago when Joe Anderson reached on an error. So here's Justin Tucker now, and Tucker takes a ball 1-0. So Seth Lee, who came on throwing strikes in the last inning, and not getting it done here so far. Leadoff walk, and it's 1-0 to Justin Tucker. And there's a strike, and that'll even things up now at 1 ball and 1 strike. Justin Tucker had a great season this past year at Palomar College. .339 with 3 homers and 41 runs batted in. Here's the 1-1 pitch, lined into left field. That is down. That's a base hit. It's going to bounce to the fence, and it's going to be the first hit of the ball game for San Diego. Justin Tucker, a double to left field. Stopping at third base is Aguilar. And it took into the 8th inning before San Diego comes up with their first base hit of the night. A Justin Tucker line drive double to left field. Here is Landon Bailey. So the no-hit drama is now a thing of the past, and now it's just a matter of how soon can the Larks finish off San Diego. Before the next pitch is thrown, there's going to be a conversation out on the hill. Sometimes giving up that first hit can be a little deflating, so that this conversation might be a little bit about getting that frustration of giving up the no-hitter out of the mind and just focus on the task at hand now, which is each batter and locating your pitches where the scouting report says to, and forgetting about the fact that there is no longer a no-hitter. Seth Lee gets a lot of pats on the back from his teammates and his coach, who's heading back to the dugout now. So the first hit of the game for San Diego in the bottom of the 8th inning. They've got runners at second and third as well, with nobody out here in the bottom of the 8th. 7-1 is our score. Hayes with the lead. Landon Bailey, the catcher, steps in, and he has struck out in 2 of his 3 plate appearances. The first pitch to Bailey is a fastball at 86 in there for a strike, 0-1. Infield playing back. Up 6 runs, not going to worry about a runner at third. Lee works out of the stretch all the time, but doesn't really check the runners. There's a swing and a miss. Lee an off-speed pitch at 76, and he really had Bailey out in front of that one, and now it's 0-2. And once again, a coach's trip to the mound appears to be paying dividends for a Hayes pitcher, which we saw earlier in the game with Lunsford. Time has been called now. And I think they just issued a ball. They did, on a pitch clock violation to Seth Lee, and now it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. That 20-second clock expired, and Lee had not pitched home, so that's a ball. For those of you unaware, you can also be charged with a strike if you're a hitter if that clock expires and you're not in the box and ready to go. Here's the 1-2 pitch, swung on and lifted, shallow left field. Charging on is Trent Baker, and Baker's going to get there and make the catch, and that's just too shallow for the runner to try and tag and score from third. And Baker throws a BB back into the infield on top of that. So a fly out to left for Bailey, 1 away. And now that'll bring up Frank Giacconi. There has just been no real situation where you felt like Lone Star was about to get back into this game. They were down 4-0 after 2.5 innings, and just with the limited amount of base runners, they've never really threatened tonight. The first pitch to Giacconi is outside for a ball, 1-0. They've got 2 in scoring position now with 1 away, but they're still down by 6 runs against hard-throwing Seth Lee, who throws at 89 here, but up high for a ball. 2 balls and no strikes, the count at the plate to Frank Giacconi. The wind has almost completely died down. It was blowing in from right field, which would be out of the east, but it has died down considerably. 2 balls and no strikes. And this one in there for a strike, and it's 2-1. Hayes on the verge of going to 4-0 in the tournament in spite of 7 errors in their 4th game. 7 errors combined through almost 4 games completed as the pitch again misses, and it's 3-1. They won their first game of the tournament by a run, their second game of the tournament by a run. Knocked off Lone Star Kraken 7-4 on Monday, and now up by 6 here. There's a swing and a miss to Giacconi, and the count's now 3 balls and 2 strikes. The Larks have almost gotten better as this tournament has gone on. A little shaky at first, his first couple of games, but looked much crisper here tonight. The pitch swung on and fouled back to the screen, and the count remains full at 3-2. It's also possible that Hayes might not have put their best pitchers out there in the first couple of games, but saved them for toward the end of pool play and then on into tonight. Here's the 3-2 pitch, swung on and a bouncing ball over to the right side, fielded by Babcock to his right. He'll throw to the pitcher covering the bag, and he's there for the 3-1 putout that will score a run, but that's a heck of a defensive play by Jackson Babcock, the first baseman. That bouncing ball was way to his right. He had to cover a lot of territory to his right and then field it and throw back across his body. And also, Seth Lee had to hustle over and cover the bag. By the time Babcock picked that bouncing ball up, he was about where a second baseman normally plays. So a nice 3-1 putout. Again, it did score a run. Now the next batter gets hit by a pitch. Ralph Dunn is going to go down to first base. He just got plunked by the first pitch from Lee. But on the previous play, Aguilar scored. Down to third goes Justin Tucker, and he's still there now with runners at the corners now and 2 away. So it's now a 7-2 ball game in the bottom of the 8th inning, with runners at first and third for San Diego. First pitch to Gavin Gimino is a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. Lee looks over at first, a very short lead there for Rafe Dunn. Here comes the pitch home, and it's high and tight for a ball. Hayes does have some activity down in their bullpen, as Seth Lee a little bit inconsistent with his control, and now he actually is going to be done. Time has been called, and there will be a pitching change being made, and once again it happens in the middle of a count with a count 2 balls and no strikes to Gavin Gimino. Seth Lee will leave the game. Well, the no-hitter is no longer intact, but the Hayes Larks still on top by 5, trying to keep San Diego from creeping any closer. The Larks will make a pitching change, and we will take a timeout. Adrian Nahar is the new pitcher for the Hayes Larks, trying to quiet San Diego here in the bottom of the 8th inning as the Stars trying to rally with 2 outs, runners at the corners, and a 7-2 Hayes lead. And Nahar's first offering is outside for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes to Gavin Jamino. Jamino is 0 for 3 tonight. He struck out twice and bounced back to the pitcher. And Nahar ready, and the 1-0. And that one across for a strike, and it's 1-1. Or excuse me, it's 3-1. I beg your pardon. When Nahar came on, the count was 2 balls and no strikes to Jamino. So Nahar has thrown 1 of each, a ball and a strike, and now it's 3-1. And here comes the 3-1 pitch, a swing and a miss for a strike, and the count's run full at 3-2. Adrian Nahar pitched at Navarro College in Texas the last couple of years. He'll be heading to Lamar this coming season. The runner at first, Raf Dunn, will be in motion with 3 balls and 2 strikes and 2 outs. There's also a runner at third. Nahar stretches. And here comes the 3-2 pitch. Swung on and sent into center field. Caleb Duncan on to his left. He's going to track it down. The guy that used to roam center field for the Wichita State Shockers felt right at home there, tracking it down in right center field and retiring this side as San Diego strands 2. We go to the 9th. Larks 7, San Diego 2.
When you look for a place to learn, train, and grow, you need something that fits with your life. At Butler Community College, we want you to reach your goals in the most affordable way possible. That's why we keep our tuition rates low, so you don't have to stress about your future.
It's why we offer hundreds of scholarship opportunities for pursuing your passion.
And it's why we work hard to provide a professional higher education at a lower price tag. Butler Community College.
Real college, really affordable.
Frank Leo looking on as his Hayes Larks one more chance to try and pad their 7-2 lead as we head to the top of inning number 9. Hayes 7 runs on 9 hits. They've committed 3 errors, and one of them led to a run back in the 3rd inning for San Diego. That's when they scored their first run of the game, but they've only added 1 since. So 7-2 as we start inning number 9, and it's Jackson Babcock for the Larks that'll lead things off in the 9th inning. And the first pitch he sees from Caden Henson is outside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Babcock, Caleb Duncan, and Wilbert Espinal, the middle of the order for Hayes, 4, 5, and 6 here in the 9th as they lead 7-2. The pitch is across at the knees, inside part for a strike. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Jackson Babcock has yet to reach base tonight. Here's the pitch. That one's inside on the inside half. It's a strike with a changeup at 74. Babcock has struck out twice, he has struck out once and grounded out twice, and he's also flown out to third. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and driven high and deep to right center field. Wright's back at the wall. It bangs off the wall. Rounding second and on his way to third is going to be Babcock. He's not going to stop there and slide into third base safely with a triple. Yeah, there was no question he was stopping at second. Not on that one that he hit off the wall in right field. And a head-first slide into third. Probably didn't even need to do that as he got every bit of that one. And a leadoff triple for Jackson Babcock. Well, maybe he heard me mention that he was hitless tonight. He was 2 for 11 when he stepped up to the plate in the tournament. Now he's 3 for 12, and he's got himself a nice 3-bagger. The infield will come in for San Diego with the Larks leading by 5, and the first pitch is high and tight to Caleb Duncan, and it's nothing, 1 ball and no strikes. Duncan made that fine running catch in center field to end the bottom of the 8th inning. 1 ball and no strikes. The pitch to Duncan. Swung on and lifted on the infield. The second baseman Dunn drifting back, and he'll make the catch, and there's the first out of the inning. No chance for a tag by Jackson Babcock over at third. So there's 1 away now for Wilbert Espinal. Espinal 0 for 3. He did walk his last time up. Started his college career at Murray State College in Tishomingo, Oklahoma. And he takes a fastball outside for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. Then this last season, Espinal wound up at Alabama State, where he hit a whopping 302. 8 homers and 38 runs batted in at Alabama State he hit. The pitch chopped at the plate foul, and Espinal's going to have to walk off a little pain as it went off what I think was his front right foot. Yes, indeed, it was off the instep. I mentioned the 354 number. That's what Espinal hit in 2 seasons at Murray State College in Oklahoma before he went to Alabama State. He's slowly walking it off, and now the left-handed hitter will step back into the box for the Larks with the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Runner at third, 1 away, top of the 9th inning. Hayes batting and leading by the score of 7-2. And the pitch lined into right field. There's a base hit. And in to score is Babcock, and the Larks have increased their lead. It's now 8-2. That's one with the infield playing in. You wonder if maybe that one doesn't get through. The second baseman, Dunn, would be playing a lot deeper. Might have had a shot at that one, but playing in is certainly the right thing to do when you're down by 5 runs. And now it's a 6-run deficit on the RBI single for Espinal. So here's Dylan LaRue now with a runner at first and 1 away. And the pitch to LaRue. It's outside for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. LaRue got off to a whopping start in this game. He singled and scored in the second inning that hit a ringing double off the wall in right field and brought home 2 the very next inning. The pitch is a ball, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. He later scored in the third after that double, and it was 5-0 Hayes. The pitch outside for a ball, and it's 3-0. And you thought at that point it could be a rout. But then Caden Henson came on, and he has really done a great job of keeping these Larks bats for the most part in check. The 3-0 swung on and missed. So LaRue was swinging away at 3-0, and he comes up empty. So give Henson really a lot of credit, kind of a unsung hero in this game. His team might not win this, but he has done a great job in relief of quieting the Hayes bats. There goes the runner. The pitch is in there for a strike, and thinking it was ball 4 was LaRue. He was about to head to first base. He couldn't believe he heard a strike call. It will be a stolen base for Wilbert Espinal. He's now at second base. So a runner at second, 1 away, and the pitch is swung on and sent foul down the left side. And that one will reach the bullpen for the Hayes Larks down the left side, and the count is now 3 balls and 2 strikes. 8-2 Hayes, top of the 9th inning. Larks trying to add to a 6-run lead. Henson through the stretch, looks back at second. The pitch is home, and another one fouled back and out of play. San Diego will have Carter Lockwood, Ethan Wright, and Joe Anderson due up in the bottom of the 9th inning. That's 8 9-1 for the Stars, but they will be down by at least 6 runs, as it's 8-2 now with 1 out here in the top of the 9th inning. Here's the full count pitch, chopped foul at the plate, and LaRue stays alive. It's still 3-2. Boy, what a long day it's been for these San Diego Stars. More than a day now. It's, well, they were out here playing at 9 o'clock this morning when they had to play one game, and now well over 12 hours after that they're playing another one, wrapping up another one. 18 innings of baseball in a little over 12 hours. Boy, this has turned into a nice at-bat for Dylan LaRue, fouling pitch after pitch off. The count's still full at 3-2. San Diego's done a nice job, though, to start off 0-2 in the tournament and come back and win 2 straight games to advance to the quarterfinals. Here's the full count pitch, and that one's down low for a ball, and that'll be a full count walk, and heading down to first base is Dylan LaRue. Stealing third, by the way, is Espinal, as this Hayes team just continues to keep the pressure on. And now time has been called, and it looks like there will be a conversation out on the mound. There does not appear to be anybody warming up down in the San Diego bullpen. Haven't talked enough about the Hayes game on Saturday when they knocked off Oklahoma MVP 9-8. But once again, in case you don't know, they were down 8-3 in that game in the top of the 9th inning. And they scored 6 runs in the top of the 9th inning to win 9-8. And they did that on the strength of just 1 base hit. Here's Tabor Stokes, and he takes a strike, 0-1. It was a Thomas Lissy base hit down the right field line, a little blooper. I did reference that earlier. His base hit tonight was hit in a similar location, also a bloop single, but that was the only hit they had when they scored 6 on Saturday in 1 inning, and a come from behind win. Pitch is down low, 1 ball and 1 strike, the count to Tabor Stokes. So that was their second consecutive 1-run victory to start the tournament. They were 2-0 with 2 1-run wins. Here's the pitch, chopped foul at the plate. But again, it seems like as this tournament has worn on, their starting pitching in particular just has gotten better and better. They've still had some defensive issues throughout. They've committed 7 errors now in the NBC, but they have found a way. Pitch is down and away for a ball. And the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes at the plate to Tabor Stokes. Stokes has 3 singles tonight. He has also driven home a run and scored a run. Stolen a base as well. He's been busy out of the 8th spot. He takes low, and the count's full at 3-2. The Lone Star Kraken await the winner of this game in one of our semifinal games tomorrow. Here's the 3-2 pitch, swung on and missed. Might have tipped it into the glove, but Bailey held on, and that's strike 3. So Stokes goes down for the second out of the inning, and C.J. Reed will step up. So runners at the corners with 2 outs now for Reed. Reed hitless tonight in 4 plate appearances. He does have an RBI with a ground out in the second inning. He takes outside for a ball, 1-0. Reed now just one hit in 14 at-bats in the NBC. Here's the 1-0 pitch, low and inside. 2 balls, no strikes. The flag in right field is completely still now, resting on the pole. No wind at all. 2 balls, no strikes, and the pitch just outside. And it's now 3-0. You have to start to wonder how much left in the tank does Caden Henson have. He's been on since the 4th inning and really pitched well. But they've asked a lot of him. I mean, he delivers a strike right there at 88. That pitch, the velocity, the location, didn't look like he's tiring much, but again, he deserves a ton of credit. Just 2 runs scored for Hayes since the end of the 4th inning. This pitch is swung on and sent foul down the left side. And the count remains full at 3-2. This is a San Diego team with a lot of guys that are very young in their careers. Some of them have not played much college baseball at all. We've got a lot of guys that I talked about that had just wrapped up their first season or their second at Mesa College in San Diego. They might make some noise for a while. This pitch is a flare down the left field line. That's going to land fair and head into fair territory, and it's going to score a couple of runs. As in to score is both Espinal and LaRue, who is motoring all the way around from first base. Down to second base goes Reed on a 2 RBI double, and it's now 10-2. Larks have the lead. Well, how about C.J. Reed coming through? I was mentioning how he was just having all kinds of trouble in the tournament. 1 for 14, and now he's 2 for 15, and he gets 2 RBIs to go with it, with that opposite field double. Now back to the top of the order with Lane Sparks, but first a pitching change for San Diego. Well, the Larks pouring it on now. They lead by 8, and San Diego's going to make a pitching change. What a job by Caden Henson, but his day is done. We will take a timeout with Hayes leading by 8. Jacob Lanza is the new pitcher for the San Diego Stars. Yet another one that has been at the Mesa College that we've referred to, that a number of players on this team are attending or have attended. And the first pitch he'll throw is a strike to Lane Sparks, who swings and misses, 0-1. Runner at second as Lanza comes on in the top of the 9th inning, though, and Hayes is leading by the score of 10-2. As Lanza checks the runner at second and throws home, and it's swung on and either fouled at the plate or Sparks just missed that, but it went off the catcher's gear. I didn't think it was foul tipped. And Landon Bailey is going out to talk to his pitcher, and probably is to get back on the same track, because I don't think that was tipped. I think that maybe Lanza threw something that wasn't called, and that's why they're having a conversation. Because, again, it didn't appear that was a foul tip. 0-2 is the count. Lanza will stretch, check the runner, and throw home, down and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Lanza ready and delivers again. The 1-2 is down and away. It was at 9 o'clock this morning, or yesterday morning technically now, that San Diego threw the first pitch of a game that was rained out last night. Then a little more than 12 hours later, they had to fire it up and play again. And they're still out there now. 2 balls and 2 strikes, the count to Lane Sparks at the plate. They wrapped up that game close to the noon hour, and now about 13 and a half hours later, they're wrapping up another one. Pitch is down, and the count's now 3-2. Lanza delivers the 3-2, yanked foul down the right side. So the count stays full at 3-2. Two runs for San Diego tonight and 1 hit. And it didn't happen until the 8th inning. The pitch swung on and lifted into center field. Charging on is Justin Tucker. He's the man that has the base hit for San Diego. He also tracks down out number 3 in the top of the 9th. Well, San Diego comes to bat in the bottom of the 9th, needing 8 to tie. Well, Adrian Nahar has a chance to finish it off here in the bottom of the ninth inning with Hayes leading San Diego by the score of 10-2. The Larks 3 outs away from advancing to the semis tomorrow night. And the first pitch from Nahar is a fastball outside, 1 ball and no strikes, to Carter Lockwood, the number 8 hitter in the order for San Diego. And here's the 1-0. It's outside for a ball, and it's 2-0. 10 runs and 12 hits for Hayes. They've committed 3 errors, 2 runs, and just that 1 lone hit for San Diego. Here's the 2-0, swung on in a high bouncing ball over toward short, charging into Stokes, then off to make a strong throw to first, and he did. There's a 6-3 putout, 1 away. Nice job by Stokes of really staying back on that one. It was a high bouncing ball, and the reason he stayed back was so that as the ball came closer and closer to coming down, he could charge toward it and have his momentum going toward first base as he caught it and released it to make the throw. And that makes it a little stronger, and he did just that, almost like an outfielder who backs up on a ball knowing he's got to quickly throw it to the infield. Stokes did that on a high bouncing ball to short as well. Here's Ethan Wright, and he bounces one foul up the first baseline, 0-1 to him. Wright scored 1 of 2 San Diego runs tonight, back in the 3rd inning. He walked and came around to score on an error by the right fielder Joe Anderson, or by the right fielder Lane Sparks. 0-1, here's the pitch. It hit him in the back. Well, that can't feel too good, and Wright will head down to first base. He's the number 9 hitter in the order, but now he's been aboard for the 3rd time tonight. He's been walked twice and now hit by a pitch. So here's Joe Anderson back at the top of the order for San Diego. This pitch to Anderson. Misses for a ball, 1-0. Anderson has reached base twice by errors tonight. He's the one that flew to right field that Lane Sparks couldn't hang on to on what was ruled an E9. The pitch is way up high for a ball, 2-0. Then in the 6th inning, he grounded one to short, and Tabor Stokes' throw to first took Jackson Babcock off the bag. Anderson was safe, and that was an E6. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Something taken off, and it swung on and missed. 2 balls and a strike. Anderson, a part of that Mesa College brigade on this San Diego team. He swings and misses again. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch, down and away for a ball. Seattle and Hutchinson will play in one semifinal tomorrow. Lone Star Crocken will play the winner of this one. Barring a miracle, it's going to be the Hayes Larks. Pitch is down low and the count's now full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Joe Anderson. And now Anderson is going to take first base. Not sure what happened there. Or perhaps we lost track of the count, but Anderson is down at first. So Wright moves to second, Anderson on at first, and now here's Logan Aguilar. First pitch to Aguilar. Fastball at 88, and it catches the outside edge for a strike. It's 0-1. 17 minutes until 2 a.m. Central Time. The pitch to Aguilar. Swung on and lifted. Shallow center field. Coming on is going to be Duncan, but he's not going to be able to get there in time. And everybody's safe. The runners at second base right and at first base Anderson had to hold up to see if the speedy Duncan was going to be able to catch that, and he couldn't. So only advancing one base each is Wright to third and Anderson to second base. So Aguilar is on at first. They're loaded for Justin Tucker, who doubled into left field down the line his last time up. And that was the first hit of the game for San Diego, and it didn't happen until all the way into the 8th inning. Swing and a miss here, and he's down 0-1. The infield for Hayes looks to turn a double play. That would end the ball game. Nobody holding a runner on. Here's the pitch. In there, it's a strike. At 84, 0-2. So a good job here by Nahar of working ahead in the count. Nahar out of Flower Mound, Texas, in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Here's the pitch. It hit him. Boy, he did such a good job of working ahead in the count, and then he comes back and hits him, and that's a bases loaded hit batter that moves everybody up 90 feet, and it allows San Diego to have their third run of the game scored. So Wright scores. Down to third goes Anderson, and down to second goes Aguilar. Justin Tucker with an RBI. That's his second of the night, and that'll spark a conversation out on the mound. And if you're Hayes, and that's probably why this conversation is going on, you don't want, even though you most likely have this game wrapped up by 7 with 1 out. Of course, anything can happen. We saw that Saturday when Hayes scored 6 in the top of the 9th inning. But even if Hayes holds on to this game, the point is you still want to do it in convincing fashion and with momentum. You don't want to allow a big inning right here, still win the game, but leave a bad taste in your mouth going into tomorrow night. You want to finish a team off when you've got them down. And the Larks here in the bottom of the 9th inning are having trouble doing that. The bases are loaded and still only 1 out. Here's Landon Bailey. And Bailey takes the ball 1-0. And the best thing, if you're a pitcher, you can do to try to improve your chances of putting teams away is to throw strikes, and Nahar is having trouble doing that. That was a good pitch, and it was yanked foul down the third base line, and it's 1-1. Temperature is now dipped below 70 degrees at 69. It's a good thing there's no wind blowing. It would feel even cooler. A ball and a strike. Here comes the pitch. Bounced over towards short, and they're going to try to get the short out to third, and they do. Nice job by Stokes right there as he was a short distance to Lissie at third base. So the force out goes 6-5 as Aguilar is retired on his way to third base. Anderson does score. Now first and second and 2 away. And Landon Bailey will bat now. Or excuse me, that was Bailey. This is Frank Giacalone. He takes down and away for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. And it looks like we've just had a clock violation, or no. there's a kid running around in center field right in front of the batter's eye. Is that a kid or is that one of our crew members? Somebody's walking in front of the batter's eye out there in center field. And they stopped play momentarily. Pitch is down and away for a ball. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Can we get a shot of that guilty party? Or are we going to protect him if it's one of ours? They halted play for about 10 seconds. I want to see who it is. 2 balls and no strikes, and the pitch catches the outside part. It's a strike, and it's now 2-1. Of course, the batter's eye is at pretty much any college or professional ballpark in center field, and supposed to create a nice dark backdrop for the batter behind the pitcher. Makes it easier to pick up the ball, no distractions either. Pitch is outside for a ball, and it's 3-1. It's funny because at an NBA game, when a player shoots free throws, you see all kinds of hands waving and things banging and what have you, and at baseball, it's a completely different thing. They want a clear backdrop behind the pitcher for the hitter. Here's the pitch. Swung on and lifted out into right field. This should do it. Drifting back is Sparks. He's there. He's got it. And that's the ball game. The Hayes Larks have advanced to the semifinals tomorrow night. They will take on Lone Star Crocken after a 10-4 victory tonight in a game that saw them jump out to a 5-0 lead after 3 innings. And it also saw San Diego go hitless into the 8th inning. And the Larks end up winning by 6, which is their most decisive margin in any of the 4 games that Hayes has played in this tournament. So the Final 4 bracket is set. Hayes and Lone Star Crocken in one game, Seattle and Hutchinson in the other. Those games will be played at 6 and 8:30 tomorrow night. It's time for our player of the game, and this was not a real difficult decision, not with the night that Simon Lunsford had for Hayes, as he was brilliant tonight. As he pitched no-hit ball into the 7th inning, he struck out 9 and really set the tone for a Hayes team to pick up a 6-run victory tonight. And here's some of the brilliant work from Lunsford tonight, just keeping San Diego hitters off balance all night long. It was a lot of sliders and some change-ups and occasionally mixing in a fastball, but you can see a lot of movement on those pitches right there. Lunsford, congratulations, great job. He is our player of the game. So Hayes will now celebrate and get their sights set on tomorrow and take on Lone Star Crocken, and now they're 1 win away from making their way back to the championship game. Now it's time for our play of the game, as the Larks bats really were pretty busy early on in this contest, and especially busy for Hayes was the bat of Dylan LaRue. This is a 2 RBI double. He banged off the wall in the 3rd inning, and that was by far the hardest hit ball early on for either team, as the Larks managed to grab a 5-0 lead after 3 innings, and 2 of the runs came home there thanks to Dylan LaRue's long 2 RBI double to right field, and that is our play of the game. And that is our contest tonight, and that wraps up all the play today in quarterfinal play. Now to the semis, and again, the 4 teams left, Seattle and Hutchinson in one game, Lone Star Crocken and the Hayes Larks in the others, and 2 of those will meet on Saturday at Equity Bank Park in downtown Wichita for the championship game. Thanks for joining us tonight. For our entire Butler Community College crew that does a great job, my name is Steve Strain. We'll talk to you again tomorrow night from Wichita for semifinal action. So long, everybody. Have a great morning.